Part 36. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 351. Wu Weining's ears buzzed. She didn't expect that she would get such a reply. In her expectation, it should be that the program team cheated on Sci-fi and she found out that she should apologize to her in a hurry. How could this be? Moreover, what is called this is the real ranking. Wu Weining's brain was buzzing, her thoughts stopped, and she couldn't understand what Director Qin said. She turned pale and opened her mouth. Director, what does the real ranking mean, you guys? You quit the show midway through filming. It was you who breached the contract. Director Qin didn't want to explain to her at all. Wu Weining never expected that things would turn out like this. Her hands and feet became cold little by little, and her whole body was stiff. Also, how did you see this ranking? Director Qin squinted. The program team has changed, only Cai Lao has it. Did you look at Cai Lao's stuff? This sentence, like a thunderclap on the ground, exploded in Wu Weining's ear, and her hands trembled. Director Qin didn't give her time to speak, so he called his assistant. Ask Mr. Cai if he has lost anything. Wu Weining couldn't say a word at all, and her feet were pinned to the spot, unable to move. At this time, Cai Zhonian also ended the meeting and walked over. After listening to Director Qin's narration, his cloudy eyes instantly burst into a bright light, and he swept towards Wu Weining. Wu Weining's body trembled again. Cai Lao. Cai Zhongnian's status in the domestic medical community is at the ceiling level, not to mention her, even the dean of Xia University's medical department should respect Cai Zhonian. She hadn't had time to perform in front of Cai Zhonian, but instead hit the muzzle of the gun directly. Cai Zhonian looked at her indifferently. Who told you to touch the things on my desk casually? Xia Da's top student. Why, your tutor never taught you what etiquette is. Wu Weining was stunned for a moment, and a layer of cold sweat broke out on her back. Elder Cai. What else? Cai Zhonian said coldly. Speak. Wu Weining's palms were sweating, and pictures of several cells were flashing in her mind. She pursed her lips. I turned to the registration form and came to find the director. Nothing moved. Cai Zhonian didn't believe the sentence, so he had people call for surveillance. Surveillance showed that Wu Weining did turn over the pile of papers on his desk, but took nothing. Cai Zhonian pointed at the door. Get out, I will call your supervisor to ask what kind of graduate student he taught. Wu Weining panicked. She begged, Elder Cai, don't. Cai Zhonian ignored him. Director Qin called the staff and took Wu Weining out. Elder Cai, the people were brought in by the program team, and the program team did something wrong. Director Qin apologized. I'm really sorry. I don't blame you for this. Cai Zhonian sighed. Unfortunately, even Xia Da only selected those who had studied well, but not the quality. With such a personality, it is not easy to become a doctor. Director Qin nodded in agreement. He also didn't plan to keep Wu Weining's scenes, but since she said that the program team asked them to match Sci-fi, he reluctantly left a few scenes where she deliberately sent her face to fight. Cai Zhonian was about to leave, when he had a flash of inspiration. He suddenly remembered something. He has definitely seen Lu Xingheng while in the Free State. Last name is Lu. Cai Zhongnian's expression changed. Free Island Lu family. The Lu family originally had a child prodigy, but the eldest son was not well known at first. But just 3 years ago, he became famous after he solved a problem in the medical world. Ask him for a consultation, and the consultation fee starts at 7 figures. After all, the economy of the Free State is very developed. But now, the eldest son of the Lu family came to Xia for some reason, and turned into an orphan. Cai Zhonian covered his heart, pointed one finger at Director Qin, and said in a difficult voice, your show is incredible. Pick up a random person, and pick up a free continent boss. No wonder Lu Xingheng looked at him wrongly when discussing the topic earlier. It's incredible, Director Qin grinned. Cai Lao, you don't know yet, just 2 days ago, the overseas broadcasting rights of our variety show were sold. Guess who sold it to? Cai Zhonian was taken aback. If wrong, Director Qin took a slow sip of tea, sold it to Duke Miston, and the Duke personally came to buy it. In his directing career, he can blow it for a lifetime. Cai Zhongnian's hand trembled. Who are you talking about? Duke Miston, Director Qin repeated again. Raphael Miston, the one that girls all over the world want to marry. His Royal Highness is our teacher C's drama fan, and he came here to give money. Cai Zhonian fell into the chair, feeling that his heart couldn't take it anymore. Director Qin fucking knocked on the door and walked in. Hey, Mr. Cai, you are here too. Cai Zhonian stared blankly at fucking, unable to understand why she was always so calm. That's the Duke of Miston. What's the matter with teacher Si? Director Qin's attitude was very enthusiastic. You say. My part has been filmed, so I applied to leave the group early. Si fucking nodded slightly. I'm going home for the new year. Okay, Director Qin was very happy. It's been a busy month. You go home early to be with your family. What's wrong with Mr. Cai? Si fucking pointed to Cai Zhonian, who was still looking at the ceiling. What's the blow? Director Qin, you hit me. Si fucking took out the familiar medicine bottle and put it down. Just get used to it. Director Qin. Why hasn't he gotten used to it after so long? On the other side, Xiata. As the Chinese New Year is approaching, there are not many people in the school, but there are still many graduate students who stay in the school to do experiments. Wu Weining was walking in the cold wind, and she never thought that she would be fired directly from the show team. And Si fucking is the real first. How is this possible? Si fucking is just a star. How could he be on top of these medical students? Wu Weining could not accept it. Her mentor is still in the office. Wu Weining pursed her lips and went in bravely. Director Li had obviously received a call from the first hospital of Sijukan, with an ugly expression. What's going on? I just can't get mad. Wu Weining lost her arrogance in variety shows. She lowered her head and immediately admitted her mistake. I didn't mean to look through old Cai, I just saw the score sheet. Forget it, the program team said that your ranking is too low to get an offer. Director Li said lightly, it doesn't matter if you quit. Wu Weining clenched her fists. Have you prepared your graduation project and thesis topics? Director Li pushed his glasses. The graduation defense will begin in May, so you must prepare in advance. Well, it's ready. Wu Weining gritted her teeth, but I have a new idea recently, and I want to change the topic. Change now, Director Li frowned. Are you in time? Wu Weining recounted the idea of cell transplantation. After speaking, she was a little uneasy. Teacher, this is what I came up with when I read a few foreign language documents. Can you read it? Director Li pondered. It's really good for you to have ideas in this regard. Okay, then you can change the topic and show it to me after writing it. If possible, I can help you apply for a patent here. Wu Weining showed a smile. I will, tutor. If she can get a patent during her postgraduate period, her future job search and going abroad will be smoother. Soon, Wu Weining put the matter of the birth of a staff to the back of her mind. This week, Crossing the Devil has aired more than a dozen episodes, and the plot has already gone halfway. Now it is the human world, and the women who have been long awaited by fans of the drama have also come out. The latest episode shows Si fucking rescuing the human princess. She was dressed in a white knight's costume, and got on her horse among thousands of chasing soldiers. The other hand picked up the human princess on the ground and walked away. This arm strength looks silly to me. How many male stars have been killed in seconds? Women's clothes are already beautiful enough, I never thought that men's clothes could be so handsome. Wife, marry me. No, 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 sister, marry me. All male stars should thank Sci-fi for being straight, or else there is still a place for you to mess around. Hashtag human wrench secretary fucking hashtag. This entry quickly became a hot search. The hot search for Dragon Crossing has not stopped in the past few days. The crew does not need to promote it at all, and countless tap water viewers spontaneously promote it. But no matter how good a drama is, it will have a different voice. Served, play this broken Xiangxia every day. Xiangxia still plays a play, they are all special effects and stand-ins. Dragon Crossing doesn't even have a martial arts instructor, and Sci-fi has never learned martial arts. Where can he really fight? No martial arts? Director Tang should not be so cautious. It is estimated that he used a stand-in. It seems that the whole body is not captured in this scene. Alas, the young actors nowadays are really not good enough. Impossible, there is absolutely no use for a substitute. Sci-fi's body substitute can't be replaced at all. I have been an extra in the demo crew, and I have never seen a substitute. Kenyon is also chasing updates every day, he is very excited. Ninth brother, Miss Si is really popular. Yesterday in the family group, several elders were still discussing this drama. I told them that I can get Miss Si. For the autographed photo, they were generous and gave me 10,000 yuan each. He can finally stop running takeout. The Mo family has been passed down to this day, although some techniques have been lost, but they still have the name of the family, and they have a lot of knowledge. It can be recognized by the Mo family that Crossing the Devil is indeed a good conscience drama. Yu Zion drank tea and said lightly, "You have a business acumen." Canyoning stood up straight, "That's because Miss Si taught me well. I'm close to Mog. Hey, no, close to Zhu Jechi." Yu Zion held her head in her hands and raised her eyebrows. The door of the villa was just opened, and Si-fu leaned into the cat's head. "I seem to hear someone speak ill of me." Canyoning rescued in time, "I said I learned how to make money with Miss Si. I'm back." Yu Zion reached out and helped her take off her scarf and hat. "Go back to Ankan tomorrow." Yes, I fucking stretched his waist. "Isn't my brother in the third year of high school? There are only 7 days off, so I just went back to see him." Nian Yian has complained to her more than once about Bizhu No. 1 middle school's inhumane makeup lessons. Yu Zion said lightly, "Ankan is colder than Sijukan, so put on your clothes." "My physique is good and I'm not cold." Si fucking poked at the palm of his hand, "But boss, sometimes your hands are still cold, so you should wear more." Yu Zion coughed, "It's an old problem. 1500 years since he came, he has suffered from a cold body. But it has nothing to do with disability. She had cured all his old ailments, but the cold would come back from time to time." Si fucking thought for a while, "In this way, if you can't stand the cold, treat me as a walking hot water bottle." In order to protect the health of the boss, she really did her best. Yu Zion frowned, "Walking hot water bottle. That's it." Si fucking warmed his hands, "Is it better?" Yu Zion fell silent, smiled and sighed, "It's a good way." On the other side, Bizhu No. 1 middle school. Nian Yian also ended the last day of makeup lessons. Under Lin Jiwan's coercion, his score has stabilized in the top 100. With the strength of Bizhu No. 1 middle school, there are 500 or 600 students sent to Xia University and top universities every year. The top 100 college entrance examinations are all scores above 690. Lin Jiwan was very pleased with the effect of her supplementary lessons. After she made a winter vacation plan for Nian Yian, she also took her luggage to the airport and took the flight back to Sijukan. Nian Yian went home alone, ready to go to the restaurant to help Ye Zhenmian. He touched the bones on his back and felt that the heat was a little unusual today. Nian Yian frowned and put on his school uniform jacket. The next second, there was a sharp pain in his neck, and his eyes went dark, and he didn't know anything. At the same time, a piece of talisman paper in Sci-fi's bag suddenly burned and quickly turned into ashes. Don't be afraid of being stupid, just be afraid of being stupid. I remember that there was a hot search 2 days ago who bought a graduation project and asked the shooter for money. Sometimes I really don't understand it. After all, reality doesn't even need logic. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 352. Sang Yanqing just came over to send the script. She first greeted Yu Ziyan respectfully, and then went upstairs. Sci was writing the paper, but didn't look up. Sister Sang, just put it in my bag. Okay, remember to watch it when the time comes, Sang Yanqing said. There is an audition next month. I remember that there will be another 7-school joint entrance examination in March, right? Then we will choose candidates for the international joint entrance examination, and there is still a variety show to do. Keep shooting, you're so busy. Sci said lazily. Yes, I am a dedicated worker. Sang Yanqing opened Sci-Fucking's bag and just put the script in, but his hands were stained with ashes. What's going on in your bag? Sang Yanqing smelled it and was a little puzzled. What is this? Did you burn paper in the bag? Sci carried a canvas bag every day, which was worn out and never changed. Is really frugal. Hearing this, Sci raised his head suddenly. She took the bag and narrowed her eyes. My talisman. This amulet comes in 2 forms. She made a lot of them, and gave them to the people in the early years of the court and Yu Ziyan. The amulet is not big, and Sci strung it on the key. She calmly flipped through the talismans on her key. The amulet with Nian Yian's name on it is gone. She looked at the black dust on her fingertips, her eyes turning cold little by little. She and Nian Yian are not in the same city, the distance is too far, and the talisman paper is weakened accordingly. As a result, her induction also weakened. After all, she died once, not her previous strength. Sang Yanqing was aware of the bone-chilling chill, and her whole body became hairy. What's wrong? Sci didn't speak, and called Nian Yian's cell phone first. No one heard. She called Yekinmian's phone number again. After 3 rings, it was picked up, and Yekinmian's voice came. Hello, Ching Ching. Sci asked, Auntie, is Ian here? I haven't come back yet. Yekinmian's voice sounded the same, and he laughed. Today is their last day to make up lessons, and Ian also said that he might come back later. Okay, I see. Sci hummed. Auntie, go home early to rest, the new year is coming, don't be too tired. At the end of the call, she raised her eyes. Sister Sang, please help me book a flight to Anken. I want the nearest flight, too. Sang Yanqing was stunned for a moment, and without asking anything, he hurriedly checked the nearest flight. There will be a train in 30 minutes. Anken and Sijukan are both in the north of Daxia and can be reached within an hour. Sang Yanqing quickly ordered 2, and then asked, why are you in such a hurry? Why don't you come back tomorrow? There's something. Sci didn't take anything, just put on his clothes, and sent a message to Yujian, I'll take my assistant back first. After she finished speaking, she jumped directly from the window on the 2nd floor. Sang Yanqing. She wiped her face and began to think about how to tell Yu Ziyan that Sci suddenly ran away. Here. Several men in black brought Nian Yian into a secret room. There are many sophisticated instruments outside the secret room, with various symbols flashing on them. When they were about to put Nian Yi on the operating table, they were stopped. Wait, don't move, a middle-aged man said, he has something on him. With that said, he squatted down and pinched an amulet hanging on Nian Yian's neck. This amulet looks about the same as the few cents sold in the online store, and there is nothing special about it. It's rare, there is still such a real amulet now, no wonder people are still damaged today, the middle-aged man said lightly, but it's a pity, it bumped into our hands, and the amulet is useless. He pulled the amulet down and threw it into the stove beside him. The amulet was quickly engulfed by fire. The middle-aged man stood with his hands behind his back, get ready, and start the operation when he wakes up. Several men in black nodded, and then Nian Yan was sent to the operating table, and his limbs and head were fixed. Nian Yan is still in a coma. It didn't take long before he became conscious. He opened his eyes with some effort, but what he saw was the extremely dazzling surgical lamp. Beside my ear, there was a very soft voice, "Are you awake?" This voice is no stranger to Nian Yan. He narrowed his eyes, and then he saw the person in front of him clearly. "It's you. The school flower of Bizhu No. 1 Middle School, Ning Tingyi." A while ago, he also found a way for the gangster to intercept him, and was beaten up by Sci-fi. After that, all the gangsters walked around Bizhu No. 1 Middle School, and even the director of moral education wondered why it was so peaceful outside the school during this time. He learned some martial arts from Sci-fi and Nian Ting, but the black belt in the school's taekwondo club couldn't beat him. But today he was knocked down completely unconsciously. Nian Yan clenched his fist and immediately found that he was imprisoned. Ning Tingyi pursed her lower lip, "Don't look at me like this, I didn't intend to treat you like this. If you accept my pursuit, I will definitely bring you home to show my father, and you won't become that's it now." But Nian Yan not only ignored her, but got closer and closer to Lin Jiwan. Where is she inferior to Lin Jiwan? Ning Tingyi also knew that Lin Jiwan was a member of the Lin family in Sijukan. But no matter how powerful the Lin family is, they are only ordinary wealthy families. And she came from the Ning family, with many witch doctors in hand, and even the Yu family would come to seek medical treatment. What does Lin Jiwan count in front of her? But the Ning family is only as small as dust in front of several super evolver families, and must find other ways to improve their strength. Ning Tingyi's original intention was to make Nian Yan his own family, but unfortunately he failed. She had to listen to her family's wishes and draw Nian Yan's blood for her own use. Nian Yan laughed angrily, "Is it my fault to say that?" Ning Tingyi shook his head, with a complicated expression and a bit of pity, "You are right, what you are wrong is the inability to protect yourself. The weak cannot survive in this society. You don't know you are an evolutionary, right? Your parents are ordinary people, but your genes have evolved. You are really lucky, but you can't keep it." Nian Yan is not a child of a few big evolutionary families, nor a member of the Evolutionary Alliance. He has no power or power. What else can he do other than being taken away for experiments? If she doesn't arrest him, sooner or later someone will find Nian Yan and arrest him. At least she sees that she will take it lightly in the face of her classmates. If he is captured by people from other forces, Nian Yan will lose his life. What confuses Ning Tingyi is that at first she could clearly find that Nian Yan must have evolved genes, but since the summer vacation last year, she couldn't feel it. But fortunately, the instrument proved that his evolutionary gene was still there. Nian Yan's eyes became cold. The fact that he is an evolutionary person was only known not long ago. At the beginning of that day, Nian Ting avoided Ye Zhenmian to find him and told him about it. Most evolvers awaken around the age of 18, but a small number of evolvers are born with extraordinary powers. Nian Ting Chu seriously told him that he was an evolutionary person, but because he was not fully awakened, his abilities were unclear. But combined with him playing basketball, he jumped up very lightly, probably related to speed or flight. Nian Yan was still thinking about his father, a big man in his 10s and 40s. How could he be a sophomore than him? It was not until the beginning of Nian Ting that he used the ability of the evolutionary to make all the air around him stagnate, like gel, and stop flowing. Nian Yan couldn't breathe, and finally had to accept the existence of the evolutionary. Ning Tingyi transferred to Bizhu number 1 middle school in the second year of high school, and began to court him in the second semester. He really didn't think about it, because of this reason. Nian Yian said nothing. He closed his eyes, feeling the heat in his shoulder blades. Nian Yian ignored her, and Ning Tingyi was a little hurt. She pursed her lower lip again and stood up. Then you can do it yourself, I will try my best to save you a life. Ning Tingyi left the secret room. After coming out, she shook her head. He doesn't listen to persuasion, just follow what Dad said. After listening, the middle-aged man nodded, and immediately signaled the witch doctor in front of the instrument to press the green execution button, ready to draw Nian Yian's blood. It's still the young lady who found out that he has the evolutionary bloodline. The middle-aged man smiled. Before, he had been walking with a girl and couldn't find a chance to start. Today is a coincidence. Evolutionaries are mysterious existences to ordinary people. Once exposed to the public eye, it is conceivable how much turmoil will be caused. Evolutionaries have always looked down on ordinary people. After all, their genes have evolved to varying degrees. For them, natural selection and survival of the fittest. Sooner or later, the general environment will eliminate all ordinary people, leaving only the strong ones with evolutionary genes. Even the lowest level evolutionary has genes that surpass ordinary people. It is a pity that there is no technology that can transform ordinary people into evolutionary people. The DNA of the evolutionary has also been extracted and checked many times, but could not be successfully replicated. It is even more impossible to implant this part of DNA into a vector through genetic engineering, and then transfer it into the body of ordinary people. But the evolutionary blood has a lot of power. Through a series of technologies, ordinary people can temporarily have the ability of evolutionary people. The Ning family has been looking for an evolutionary for a long time, but the evolutionary they encounter is either from a big family or a member of the Evolutionary Alliance, and they can't afford it. It was not easy to meet such a loner as Nian Yian, so naturally he had to start first. Ning Tingyi's approach was unsuccessful, so he had to be tough. Sir, after drawing 1000 milliliters of blood, he passed out. The witch doctor said, do you want to continue? Ordinary people can be pumped up to 400 ml of blood at a time, and the physique of the evolutionary is tougher. No need, enough. The middle-aged man was very casual. Send this kid back, don't let his family wait. He threw a card at random. The money in this card is given to their family. The lady said that their family is poor, and 5 million is enough to buy a life. Blame Nian Yian for not having any background. The man in black nodded, picked up the unconscious Nian Yi, and left quietly. An hour and a half later, the flight arrived in Anzong. As the new year is approaching, New Year's goods are sold everywhere, and there are many people on the streets. Sci-fi went straight home. Ye Zhenmian opened the door and was stunned. Ching Ching, why are you back at this time? You didn't say anything in advance. Sci-fi glanced at it. Auntie, where is Ian? Haven't come back yet. Ye Zhenmian paused and forced a smile. He came back just now. He's too tired to make up the lessons, and he has already slept. Well, let me see. Sci-fi lowered his head and walked in. Ye Zhenmian's expression changed, and he chased after him. Ching Ching, your cousin he. The door has been pushed open. Nian Yian lay on the bed with no scars on his body, but his face was bloodless. His breathing was weak, barely audible. Looking up again, Sci-Fi's eyes were already stained with blood, but his voice was very light. Auntie, what's going on? Ye Zhenmian couldn't hold back this time, and tears fell. She wiped away her tears, but couldn't hold back. Just now, when I was at home, someone knocked on the door. I went out to take a look, and saw Yian lying on the ground. I don't know how it happened. I was about to bring he's going to the hospital. Your uncle was sent on a business trip and hasn't come back yet. You are busy with your career, and I don't want you to worry. Si fucking squeezed Nian Yian's wrist. The pulse suddenly became strong and weak, 3 times weak, too strong, very strange pulse. She quietly tried his pulse, but her expression was unexpectedly calm. Yu Jian felt an unprecedented fear, her hands were getting cold, little junior sister. Si fucking didn't answer. A few seconds later, she stretched out her hand and tapped a few acupoints on Nian Yian's body. Cough, 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 Nian Yian coughed violently. He opened his eyes very slowly, still a little dazed. Sister Ching Ching, I. Don't talk. Si fucking held his shoulders and poured out a few pills from the bottle with his other hand. Eat these first. Nian Yian's consciousness was still a little unclear, and he swallowed whole, but his body was still weak. He was a little breathless. Sister Ching Ching, I'm fine, I'm just a little dizzy. With so much blood drawn, it's strange that you don't feel dizzy. Si fucking said lightly. Who do you see? They want you to die. Nian Yian hesitated for a moment. It's the gangsters you taught me last time. I heard what they said about the Yanqinjning family. They seem to be witch doctors and evolutionaries. I don't know. He seemed to remember something and struggled. Sister, I'm fine, they're not good people, you don't. Yanqinj, Ning's family. Si fucking stood up, smiled, very cold, I see. The darkness that belonged to the bones of the previous life surged up uncontrollably, and at this moment, it was completely uncontrollable. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 353. She had been in the Eternal Academy for so long and died several times. Not to mention how many days and nights have been spent in the holographic game Eternal. She has her own dark side. Already a villain. Si fucking knew that the evolutionary level at the beginning of Nian Ting was at least S level, and he knew that he just wanted to live an ordinary life. Otherwise, with the ability at the beginning of the year, it would be easy to destroy a city. Then she will help him. But she did not forget, and has been secretly investigating the accidental death of the Nian Hechuan couple. The wish at the beginning of Nian Ting is very simple, just want to live an ordinary life, but there are always people who don't have long eyes to pay attention. Then use the default rules of the evolutionary to kill and kill. You, help me protect my aunt and cousin. Si fucking said lightly, I'll go back when I go. Yu Jian's expression was also sharp. You go. She could naturally see that Nian Yian had been drained of a lot of blood. This blood drawing method, if it is changed to a B rank and below evolutionary, will not die but also be seriously injured. But Nian Yian just fell into a severe coma. This proves that his evolutionary level is indeed terrifying. But the more terrifying should be the beginning of the year. Combined with the philoxoccipital sleep without evolutionary genes, the bloodline must be diluted. Even after dilution, a quasi-super A grade like Nian Yian can be born. What should be the evolutionary level at the beginning of Nian Court? Although Nian Yian has no worries about his life, the blood drawn from him will greatly damage his vitality. It's just a group of witch doctors, it's really courting death. Si fucking put on his coat, turned around and went out, his back into the darkness. Yeqian was stunned. It has been more than half a year since she recognized Si fucking, and she has never seen Si fucking like this. On TV, she is a big star. In private, she can count even a dime clearly. Yeqian finally came back to his senses, so he chased after him, Ching Ching. To be able to take Nian Yian away and send it back quietly, how could they afford it? She didn't want Si fucking to be involved. If subsequent retaliation is involved. Don't worry, Auntie Yu Jian sneered, don't say it's a Yanqinjning family, 10 is useless, Ching Ching is not someone who cares about the big good. This sentence calmed Ye Zhenmian, and she hesitated, the evolutionary people you mentioned just now. As a pillow at the beginning of the year, no matter how well he hid, she could sense something was wrong, but she didn't say it. This matter is complicated, Yumi said, I'll explain it later. Ye Zhenmian nodded, and immediately brought a glass of salt water. Ian, what else is uncomfortable? It's much better, my head is not so dizzy. Nian Yan finished drinking water. He wanted to struggle to get down, but he felt a strong burning sensation in his body, so hot that his throat was smoking. Oh, the power is about to awaken. Yumi checked his body, let's see what you will become in a while. Nian Yan became nervous, what do you mean? Evolutionaries, there are also many types. Yumi snapped his fingers, some of the evolutionary genes say that he evolved, his power has indeed become stronger, but it is also possible to say that he can return to his ancestors, because he launched the evolutionary after the ability, he himself became a beast. Nian Yan's palm was sweating, is it possible that I will also become a bird? Yu Jian thought for a while and comforted him, maybe it's a human bird, have you heard of a mermaid? There's also a human's upper body and head. Nian Yan. It didn't get any better. Nian Yan clenched her fists and whispered, if I could wake up sooner, what happened today would not have happened. I'm sorry Sister Ching Ching, it's all my fault. The senior high school students of the dignified Bizhu No. 1 middle school are about to take the international entrance examination, how can there be such a theory of victim guilt? Yuji unfolded his arms, you are not perfect, but damn those who moved ghostly. Okay, stop talking, take a rest, she'll be back in a while. Here. The middle-aged man was boarding the plane with a few men in black and a witch doctor escorting Ning Tingyi and the vessel containing Nian Yan's blood. As long as the blood is transported back to Yanqing, they will succeed. Fortunately, the occult authority was not alerted. The middle-aged man carefully observed his surroundings, and then he breathed a sigh of relief, go. The man in black nodded and was about to start the plane. Go, a voice fell faintly, can you go? The middle-aged man's expression changed, and he said sharply, who? He clearly didn't feel the traces of other people. When did one more person appear? Bang! The door of the plane was kicked open. A pair of black boots stepped on the carpet, and the face of the person who came was gradually revealed from the darkness. When I saw a very young girl, even though she was beautiful, middle-aged people were not in the mood to appreciate it. He frowned, who are you? Ning Tingyi's pupils shrank, you. The rest of the Ning family didn't know each other. After all, the Ning family practiced the way of witch doctors, so where did they have time to watch any TV series? But she knew exactly that. Sci-fi. The new top in the entertainment industry. The Xiangxia drama Dragon Crossing is popular all over the world, and the class is discussing it. But isn't Sci-fi recording variety shows in Sijukan? Why did you come to Ankan all of a sudden? Came here specifically? Ning Tingyi's brain couldn't turn around. Sci-Fu swept his gaze and locked the vessel in Ning Tingyi's arms. The darkness in the bottom of her eyes surged, and she raised her hand. Boom! Ning Tingyi felt a strong suction, and she only had time to scream before watching the vessel fly into Sci-Fu's hands. The middle-aged man's expression changed completely, are you an evolutionary? Taking things from the air, ordinary fighting can't do it, and it has to be an evolutionary of B rank or above. They have repeatedly investigated Nian Yan. His parents are ordinary people, and they just owned a restaurant last year. How could they have something to do with the evolutionary? Sci-Fucking said nothing. The next second, her figure moved, and she came to Ning Tingyi in an instant. Ning Tingyi was stunned for a moment, and then screamed again. But the scream got stuck in his throat and couldn't come out. Bang! Sci-Fucking pinched Ning Tingyi's throat and directly pushed her against the wall. Severe pain came from the backbone. Ning Tingyi broke out in cold sweat, and his face gradually paled. But the pain all over her body couldn't compare to her dizzying thoughts. The fighting scene of Demon Crossing has been edited by many editor bloggers to compare it with other ancient puppets in recent years. Sci-fi's fighting scenes were very decisive and fierce, and netizens joked that if it wasn't for coercion and hanging her, she would really fly away. Ning Tingyi also listened to her classmates discussing this, but she just smiled indifferently. Where is the exaggeration? It's all about effects. But now, Ning Tingyi was in a cold sweat. What do you want to do? I don't know you at all. My brother's blood, I'm afraid you will have no luck. Si smiled slightly, but if you want to try, I can fulfill your little wish. Under the shocked gaze, she locked Ning Tingyi's throat, the fingertips of the other hand were cut, and blood flowed out. Before Ning Yi could say anything, she was forcefully fed a drop of blood, the smell of rust spread in her mouth, and she coughed in pain. Si let go. Ning Tingyi was unable to stand up. She screamed miserably, her legs softened, she fell to her knees, and began to roll on the ground continuously. Obviously she was not attacked, but the flesh on her body burst open one after another, dripping with blood. Her wounds closed and opened, repeating the process over and over again. Shocking. Not long after, Ning Tingyi couldn't even make a sound. The middle-aged man looked horrified. He is an evolutionary himself, but his level is very low, only D level. And his evolutionary ability can be said to be non-existent, and it can't cause any harm. After all, the D-level evolutionary people are actually not much different from ordinary people, and there are also a large number of them, even the little brother who delivers food. A drop of blood can make ordinary people become like this, only the S rank recorded in the book. Can S class? Not to mention S grade, even if it is a grade, it was recruited by the Evolutionary Alliance. The middle-aged man's brain was buzzing, and his thoughts began to turn frantically. He began to search for all the evolutionary forces in the world in his mind. The League of Evolutionaries is of course number one. But because the evolutionaries are internal intermarriages, after so many years, it is the three major families that firmly control the Evolutionary Alliance. The advanced evolutionists are all from these three families. Difficult, could it be that Nian Yian, the middle-aged man looked at the approaching girl, and his fear was growing frantically, and it was too late to think. The birth of the evolutionary is a mystery. The earliest history that can be traced back is at least hundreds of years. It is said that a meteorite has fallen from the sky, and the radiation of the meteorite is very strong. Many people died in the radiation center, and those who survived also had different mutations. After several rounds of elimination, evolutionaries with evolved genes finally emerged. But whether that is the case or not is now unknown. After the advanced evolutionary is combined, it is not necessarily able to give birth to higher-level offspring. Because it is also possible that in the process of childbirth, uncontrollable things will occur, causing both parents to explode and die. There is a prohibition in the Evolutionary Alliance. If both parties are S rank, they must not have offspring. What exactly is going on? The middle-aged man couldn't say a word, his eyes widened, and his body fell softly. Others were powerless to fight back. Sci-fi squinted his eyes, took the vessel containing Nian Yian's blood, and immediately returned home. Add the time on the road before and after, but it was only 30 minutes, and Nian Yian didn't respond. You, my brother's blood is reinfused back. Sci said quickly, there is still something to do, I'll go first. The Ning family had a plane, which just saved her troubles. Yu Jian nodded slowly, I'm here, don't worry. She can still do a simple blood transfusion. The home also has a complete medicine cabinet and simple medical equipment. Yu Jian helped Nian Yian to the medical room and began to give him blood transfusions. The blood was sent back, and Nian Yian's face gradually turned bloody. He eased his breath. Why did Sister Qing Qing go out again? The revenge isn't over yet, Yu Jian said lightly. You are her family, how could she give up so easily? Nian Yian lowered his head. I just worry about her. Actually, I'm fine. Don't talk, Yu Jian smiled. Be careful to become a beast for a while. Nian Yian. The other side. Yanqing, Ning family. It was already early morning, and the Ning family had already rested. Guards guard the door of the house. Until the roar of the plane sounded. The housekeeper looked up and was very surprised. Hurry up and report to the head of the family, the young lady is back. This time, Ning Tingyi has helped the Ning family a lot, and her status in the Ning family will also rise. The plane stopped on the empty grass, and the butler was about to come forward to greet it. The door of the plane opens. Little. Before the housekeeper could say anything, his body suddenly flew upside down. With a bang, it hit a tree in the distance, and the trunk snapped. The sudden change shocked the guards and immediately surrounded the plane. There was a sound of footsteps, and Sci-fi walked down. The guards' faces were ugly. Someone trespassed into Ning's house, and emergency rescue is needed. The Ning family has evolved, and they spent a lot of money to recruit them. They are mutually beneficial to these few evolutionaries. After all, witch doctors are still extremely capable. Evolvers are injured and need to be healed just like ordinary people. After so many years, no one has been able to break into the Ning family. After receiving the notice, the two men in black quickly jumped down from the top of the eaves. The trespasser is dead. These days, a little girl dares to go into Ning's house alone? It's crazy. Sci-fi slowly raised his head, raised his hand, and showed a sinister and violent smile that belongs to hunters. She said, a mere B-level evolutionary. There will be an update next week, and the manuscript is still being saved. Don't worry, QWQ. It's the end of the month, and the monthly pass will expire if you don't vote. Today is the last day of Xiaoxiang's double monthly pass. Babies, give it a go. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 354. A mere B-level evolutionary? Who can say such a thing? Still a girl? The two B-level evolutionaries looked at each other in surprise, and their eyes fell on Sci-fi. A very ordinary face, without any special features, will not be remembered at all. It may also be easy. But her aura was extremely compelling. Like a black rose under a moonlit night, arrogant and extremely dangerous. Both evolutionaries felt an unprecedented panic, but being B-level evolutionaries made them very conceited. B-level evolutionaries can walk sideways. After all, A-level evolutionaries are not Chinese cabbage. All A-level evolutionaries are organized in the supernatural administration, and they have never seen this girl in front of them. Really talkative. The evolutionist on the right sneered, the tone is not small, but you are courting death. As soon as he stepped on, his strength exploded, and he rushed over first. Sci-fi didn't move. Boom. When the attack was about an inch away, she raised her hand and caught his punch. Crack. Sci-fi tightened his fingers, and instantly shattered the evolutionary's phalanx. A shrill scream sounded. The evolutionist on the left changed his expression and rushed out, using the evolutionary ability at the same time. However, Sci-fi still only had one hand, and took his attack steadily. Neither of them could make an inch. What shocked them even more was that the ability that Sci-fi displayed next made them extremely familiar. Isn't this their evolutionary ability? How can it appear on the other side? Although it's a B rank, I can't even control my own abilities. Sci-fi chuckled, it's really a shame for the evolutionary. She is currently recovering to A level, and it is easy to replicate the ability of a B level evolutionary. Just practicing. The two evolutionaries were instantly terrified. They invariably remembered a taboo within the evolutionary copy ability. The eyes of the two of them were wide, and they were about to scream when they opened their mouths, but they couldn't say a word, and they all fell to the ground. Sci-fi let go of his hand and glanced at the surrounding guards. The guards backed away like crazy, and no one dared to take a step forward. Their hands holding the weapons were trembling, and they couldn't hold them at all. What power is this? Even the evolutionaries who guard the Ning family have no power to fight back. They have only undergone systematic fighting training, so how can they resist? The guards watched as Si lifted Ning Tingyi, who had passed out of the plane and slowly walked into the inner courtyard. At this time, the inner courtyard. The middle-aged man was still waiting for Ning Tingyi to come back and didn't sleep. The chief elder of the Ning family had just finished practicing Gu and was about to go back to rest when a middle-aged man invited him into the room. The middle-aged man recounted the matter. Tingyi has merit this time, great elder, can you pass the secret book to her so that she can practice? Witch doctors also need talent. Ning Tingyi's talent in this area is not strong, so he was sent to Bizhu to study. But the middle-aged man didn't want to give up, and always wanted to help Ning Tingyi improve his strength through other methods. Finally found an evolutionary this time. You can make good use of the evolutionary blood to make pills and improve your strength. The first elder frowned, the matter is not yet finalized, wait for her to come back, and you are not afraid of offending people when you catch the evolutionary people. I checked it out, there is no background. The middle-aged man also knew that his status in the Ning family was not the highest, so he just clicked on it and didn't make any further demands. If they can make stronger evolutionaries, the entire Daxia Empire will not be in their eyes. The more he thought about it, the greater the desire in his heart. The first elder turned the Buddha beads in his hand and suddenly asked, the Yu family asked you to find a ghost doctor, what news do you have? Hearing this sentence, the middle-aged man paused, not yet. Hearing this, the first elder didn't have time to talk about him anymore, and was about to return to his cultivation place. Boom! The door was kicked open at this moment. Ning Tingyi was thrown to the ground. The elder's expression changed greatly. Who? The middle-aged man was even more alarmed. Tingyi? Tingyi? Who dares to torture his daughter like this? Are you her father? Si walked in, it seems I'm not wrong. The middle-aged man hadn't recovered yet, and the next second his neck was pinched. With another bang, he was pushed against the wall. Cracks appeared on the wall. The elder's legs softened, and he knelt on the ground with a bang, slipping to his knees for a second. How could he not understand what happened? His body trembled violently, and he frantically began to beg for mercy. Sir, forgive me. I just found out about this matter, it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. Yes, it was their family's greed that angered the adults, and it has nothing to do with the rest of the Ning family. Although a witch doctor is a witch, but his essence is to cultivate medicine, and his physique is the same as that of ordinary people. Coupled with the test medicine of raising Gu in his body will be even weaker. The middle-aged man's face was blue and purple, and it became difficult to breathe. His brain was buzzing, apparently unable to understand what was going on. Isn't Nian Yan a high school student? What is the relationship between the person in front of him and Nian Yan? It's a pity that you know my brother's identity, Si said lightly, for his safety, you have to shut up. The middle-aged man's eyes suddenly widened, he wanted to beg for mercy, but he couldn't make a sound. By the way, we were all fake identities at the beginning. You asked me not to take my boss's illness. Did you think that you would not be able to find anyone at all? Sifu lowered his eyelashes and smiled, this is our second time. See you, there will be no next time. The middle-aged man's eyes widened, and he suddenly remembered something from a long time ago. He said with difficulty, you. The next second, he fell down softly, unconscious. The elder was trembling all over. He knew that Ning Tingyi's line was completely abolished. But it was not very important originally. After all, Ning Tingyi had no talent in the way of witchcraft. Damn, if you are looking for an evolutionary, you will find an evolutionary. Can't you find those who are helpless and have not joined any forces? By the way, I fucking turned around and smiled. I believe this matter has nothing to do with you. There is a debt and a debt, so I will not move you, but if you want to find someone, I will accompany you to the end. The elder's legs were trembling. I don't dare. My lord gave me 100 courage, but I would never dare. Also, please leave my name. I will be honored in the future. At most, they will recruit B-level evolvers. But the girl in front of her could easily kill 2 B-level evolutionaries. The first elder was so frightened that he became incontinent, and he shivered. My Ning family have nothing to give to the adults, only, just a new batch of medicinal materials. If the adults don't dislike it, I will give them all to the adults. Oh, I fucking stopped and said lightly, then bring it. The elder immediately ordered someone to bring all the medicinal materials. Nian Yian used the life-saving medicine she made to heal her injuries, and the medicinal materials were indeed gone. I fucking was not polite and collected all the medicinal materials. Her back was hidden in the darkness again, and the plane took off again. The elder was paralyzed on the ground, his body still shaking. He really didn't dare to resist. When the opponent's strength exceeds them too much, it is useless to resist. On top of that, they don't know the higher evolutionary ones at all. What else can I do? I fucking's movement was not small, and the entire group of elders was alarmed. The second elder came in a hurry, and was also shocked by I fucking's method. Brother, is this the case? What else do you want? The great elder shouted angrily. It was the family that did the wrong thing and someone came to the door, so that's right. If you don't like it, you can go by yourself. The second elder shrank his head, not daring to say anything. In the morning, I fucking rushed back to Anken. She didn't rest for a moment and went home immediately. Nian Yi slept peacefully and just woke up. Is it better? I fucking took out a medicine bottle. Come on, take another medicine. Nian Yian swallowed. Sister Ching Ching, isn't this medicine expensive? I fucking raised his eyebrows. It's not expensive, you just ate a sweet in the second ring road of Sijukan. Nian Yian. Just kill him. Just as he was about to say something, there was a sudden noise. Bang. Nian Yian's backbones made a crackling sound. Yu Jian's expression froze, and she quickly backed away. This force exploded. A pair of huge wings slowly opened. Fortunately the room was big enough to accommodate. I fucking also made preparations, and together with Yu Jian, blocked the power of Nian Yian's explosion. Nian Yian was stunned for a moment, then reached out and pinched the wings on his back carefully. Hard, like a blade. He tried to put it away, and found that it was back to normal before he let out a sigh of relief, and said, fortunately, it didn't grow during class. Otherwise, with the hardness of his wings, Lin Jiwan would have been stabbed to death. I fucking. After a few seconds, she slowly said, try the speed. Nian Yian nodded, came out of the window, spread his wings and flew. At the beginning, there was still some uncontrollable balance for a second, and he flew 200 meters. Yumi blurted out, what a fast speed. Come down. I fucking clapped his hands, don't fly, I won't have the strength for a while. After Nian Yi settled down, I felt that my whole body was still light. I seemed to be able to fly directly to the western continent. You can't fly over. I fucking glanced at him. When you flew to the edge of Anken, the people from the supernatural administration came. Nian Yian. Really sad thing. He can fly, and his speed is fast. Yu Jian touched his chin. It's more powerful than the codenamed Lightning from the Evolutionary Alliance. Well, it's a good way to escape. I fucking agreed. If you can't beat it in the future, just run to me, don't be brave, you know. Nian Yian smiled, I see, Sister Ching Ching. I've cleaned up the people who bullied you. They have no ability to leak the news that you are an evolutionary person. I fucking said, you have awakened the ability of an evolutionary person now, but don't use it in non-emergency situations on weekdays. Use. Nian Yian's expression became solemn, I know the severity. Go to sleep for a while. I fucking then took a sip of water, call uncle when you wake up. Nian Yian nodded and went into the bedroom obediently. Yu Jian glanced at the door with a complicated expression, little junior sister, I have never seen you so angry. I fucking paused and said in a low voice, I'm so scared that I can't make it in time. She couldn't make it in time and could only watch Ye Wanlin die in front of her. The second time she didn't catch up, and Lu Qingning died. It is unbearable for this to happen once. But it happened to her a second time. She squeezed the teacup tightly, and the veins in her hands jumped up. Little junior sister, I'm afraid someone will come to trouble you. Yu Jian's eyes were cold, we have to prepare, I'm asking T18 to check. Come on, I fucking smiled coldly, that's right, it just happened to make them go back and forth. A group of witch doctors dared to experiment with the blood of evolutionaries. There must be someone behind them. Although the evolutionary gene has evolved, it is actually unstable, otherwise it will not go wild. The blood of advanced evolutionary people is as corrosive as concentrated sulfuric acid. Not to mention ordinary people like Ning Tingyi, even an evolutionary below grade B will be injured if they get a drop of it. The two were talking when the door was suddenly pushed open. The visitor was clearly in a hurry. There was cold wind blowing in, and before I fucking stood up, he was suddenly hugged by a pair of arms. Warm feeling came. I fucking was startled and smelled the familiar moonlight cinnamon. She raised her hand slowly, feeling a little helpless for the first time, boss. Yu Zian paused for a few seconds, then let go of her hand and slowly stood up, it's okay. Feng San ran up and breathed a sigh of relief, Miss Si, you're fine. I'm really fine. I fucking raised his hand, look, boss, I'm not injured and my hair isn't falling out. Yu Zian was silent for a moment, then sighed softly, well. Just a little tired. I fucking said tentatively, can I sleep first? Yu Zian hummed again, and he rubbed her head, go to bed. I fucking immediately ran into his bedroom and closed the door. Tsukimi also went to the kitchen wisely. Feng San looked at Yu Zian, ninth brother? There must be someone in the Ning family's lineage, and Zero is still investigating. Yu Zian raised her head, put her hands behind her back, and said in a low voice, it's time to start. If you don't do it again, some people will forget, who should be provoked and who should not be provoked. By the way, there is a foreshadowing in chapter 218 about the uncle's evolutionary ability, you can review it again QVQ. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 355. Although the evolutionary has more powerful abilities than ordinary people, the internal system has regressed to the ancient times of the jungle. There are killings every day. The evolutionary alliance is fighting for power day and night, and the casualties are considered light. Because Daxia is guarded by the supernatural administration, few evolutionaries dare to do something to ordinary people. Compared with Western Continent and Dongsang, they are still peaceful. But there are still unscrupulous people who want to stir up a new storm. It shouldn't be. The three great masters Feng San followed Yu Zian, and also had a certain understanding of the power distribution of the evolvers, they don't need to do it or disdain to do it. Yeah, Yu Zian agreed with this, he said lightly, the small family will find another way. Feng San nodded. It's a pity that it hit the iron plate directly. Fortunately, Miss Si was fine, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. Feng San endured it, but finally couldn't hold back, and asked a question that might invite murder. Ninth brother, why did you hug Miss Si just now? Yu Xian paused and raised her head. There was no warmth in his eyes, no joy or anger, and his light amber pupils dimmed and dimmed, making it difficult to tell the depth of it. He just looked at Feng San quietly. Feng San was startled, and immediately stood up straight. I'll go to work now. He fled away. Yu Xian was still standing quietly in the same place. This time, in the bedroom. Si fucking lay flat on the bed, but hadn't fallen asleep. She opened her eyes and looked at the ceiling, and suddenly found that she rarely had some insomnia. The warm arm seemed to still have a residual touch on her body, and the moonlight cinnamon that belonged to him reverberated between the sleeves, as if substituting her into a piece of antique fragrance. She could feel the ups and downs of his chest, and her heartbeat was messy. But in my impression, Yu Xian was always calm in the face of danger. Nothing seemed to be enough to shake him. He was neither happy nor low in tone. The ability to control emotions can be said to be beyond the limits of what people have. Si fucking sighed. I made the boss angry again. How should I make amends this time? Xiaobai stretched out his paw and poked her shoulder, and let out a few hoots. What do you know? Si fucking raised his eyes. This is because I have a very deep relationship with the boss, and we are already buddies. After each fight, I and you will hug each other, and then see who's physically strong. Noob. One is female and female, one is female and male, can this be the same? Moreover, who is okay to hug others to test the hardness of their bodies? Only dog owners can do this, right? My boss and I have a pure transactional relationship, but I raised you, so how can you be like those keyboard warriors on the internet? Si fucking lifted Xiaobai up, his fox eyes narrowed. Don't use dirty thoughts. It tarnishes the pure relationship between me and the boss. Xiaobai said again. This feeling is not another feeling. It is very disappointing to the dog owner. Seeing that its head was drooping down, Si fucking looked sad, so he thoughtfully fed it a gold brick. Good, don't disturb Dad's sleep, Dad has the urge to get up. After she finished speaking, she rolled onto the bed and quickly fell into a deep sleep. Xiaobai lay down, his little paws tugging at his own hair, very melancholy. But think about it, the dog owner lived in an environment where no one taught her this knowledge at all. Not as good as it is. The lifelong event of the dog owner should be placed on its small shoulders. Xiaobai patted his chest, very proud. It's going to be an attacking wingman. Si fucking slept until the afternoon, and regained his vitality. Nian Yian also woke up and was eating braised chicken legs. Seeing Si fucking come out, he immediately stood up. Sister Ching Ching. Sit down. Si fucking sat down opposite him and took a chicken leg. Have you called your uncle? I've beaten it. Nian Yian hummed. Dad has finished the work and will be back tomorrow morning. He didn't even have to ask why Nian Ting Chu Mingming had such powerful abilities, and why their family lived so poor before. With Nian Yian's intelligence and what happened yesterday, you can naturally guess how difficult it has been for Nian Ting at the beginning of these years. The evolutionary circle is indeed dangerous. Come on, since you have become a part of the evolutionaries, let's first popularize the division of forces in this circle. Si fucking took out a pen and paper. First of all, it is the Alliance of Evolutionaries, the gathering place of all the evolutionaries in the world. Secondly, we have an independent organization in Daxia, the Supernatural Administration, which is the Ling Meng. Nian Yian finally got his strength. Ling Meng. I read it in the history book. Yes, before the Evolvers appeared, the Ling Meng was in charge of dealing with supernatural events. Si fucking nodded. After the Evolvers appeared, the Evolvers in the Great Xia Empire would also be managed by the Ling Meng. Nian Yian nodded. But I haven't had much contact with the Spirit Alliance. Si fucking paused. Let's talk about the Evolution Alliance first. Moon raised his eyebrows. Her little junior sister doesn't want people to know that they are all on the occult authorities wanted list, right? There are 10 elders in the elders Sci-fi said while writing, the leader is selected by the elders. If the descendant of the leader is strong enough, he will be established as the young leader. All the younger leaders are S rank. In addition, there are guards, the captain of the guards is A level starting, and there are super A levels. The next are the 3 major families Sci-fi look serious, if you meet these surnames in the future, be careful. Nian Yin listened very carefully. Sci-fi wrote down 3 surnames. Lotbar. Yin. Deadwood. They are West Continent, Daxia, and Dongsang. Sci-fi said lightly, almost all the advanced evolutionists come from these 3 families. Nian Yin looked at the 3 surnames and was silent for a moment, then father. He's your father, my uncle, and my aunt's husband. That's enough. Sci-fi said lightly, we're a family, aren't we? Nian Yin took a deep breath, okay, I understand. But if you really get into trouble with these 3 families, you will come to me too. Sci-fi raised his eyebrows, not in a hurry, I know so many friends, it's impossible for you to be wronged. Okay, Cope is here, I'll go out to eat something. She grabbed the key case and left. Nian Yin's body was still stiff. He looked at Yu Jian who was bartending with difficulty. Sister Yu, you are my sister's assistant. Who is she? Where did you go? Yu Jian turned the long spoon in his hand and raised his red lips. You sister Ching Ching is amazing, you will have to get used to it in the future. Nian Yin. He can't get used to it. He decided to do 2 sets of comprehensive essays to be calm and calm. This time, Western State. Nian Ting had just finished his work and was drinking water. The other workers were so tired that they gasped and collapsed on the ground. Ting Chu, you really are in good health. After working all night for so long, you are not even tired. At the beginning of Nian Ting, because of his strength, the factory owner also valued him, and sent him to the capital city of Zizhu to complete the project. And he generously gave a large salary, which made other workers envious. At the beginning of Nian Ting I'm still young and in good health. Ting Chu, you have a lot of income this time, a worker said with a smile. After finishing this order, go back and spend a year with your wife and son, don't be too tired. Nian Ting also laughed at the beginning of the year, I will quit my job after the new year and change jobs. Workers wondered, what work? Nian Ting was silent for a while, be a doorman or a security guard. I'm not telling you, Ting Chu, you have to be ambitious. The co-worker disagreed, look at you, you are not bad looking and strong, you should find a better job. At the beginning of Nian Ting, he just smiled, it's good to live an ordinary life and be able to settle down. Yes, the co-worker sighed. Last year, my former employer owed me my salary, and I almost didn't even go home. It's getting late. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve, so I'll pack up and go home for the new year. He patted Nian Ting Chu on the shoulder, handed him a cigarette, and turned around to pack his luggage in the temporary dormitory. At the beginning of Nian Ting, he didn't bring anything but a few clothes. He quickly packed up and was ready to go to the train station. Low-level evolvers are actually not uncommon. Along the way, Nian Ting has discovered a lot at the beginning of the year. He didn't make any sense, and went on with his luggage. Until 2 more evolutionaries were discovered. Nian Ting glanced at the beginning of the year. Class C. Not to the level that made him vigilant. Nian Ting passed by with 2 C-level evolutionaries at the beginning of the year. But his ears were excellent, and he could hear the conversation of the 2 evolutionaries. By the way, the owner of the family is in a rage. The original surnamed Ning told him that they had captured an unawakened evolutionary person in Anken, and they were going to draw someone's blood. When the time came, they would make medicine and give it to our family, but they missed it. One said, people didn't catch them, and they put themselves in. The Ning family is really trash. A group of witch doctors have no fighting power and can't make a climate another, but it is said that the evolutionary level should not be low, and the owner is going to go to Bizhu in person. Bizhu, Anken, an unawakened evolutionary. These words hit the eardrums at the beginning of Nian Ting. When he settled in Anken, he checked the whole city, except for Nian Yin, there were no unawakened evolutionaries. He clenched his hands tightly, and all the bones in his body suddenly made a cracking sound. Buzz. The air condenses instantly. The two sea-level evolutionaries only felt that breathing was unprecedentedly difficult, and the surrounding oxygen disappeared. The faces of the two became blue and they soon passed out. At the beginning of Nian Ting, his fingers were clenched again, and he took a few slow breaths before the air flowed again. He put down the luggage, bent down, and found the evolutionary certificate from the two sea-level evolutionaries. The evolutionary card is the identity proof of the evolutionary, similar to the ID card. The grade of the evolutionary person is marked on it, as well as the annual inspection stamp. If you do not pass the inspection of the occult authority, your mobility will be temporarily restricted. Feng. He had never heard of this surname, and thought it was an evolutionary family that had only risen in the past few years. Nian Tingchu's expression turned cold, he carried his luggage, turned his head, and went to Feng's house according to the address on the evolutionary certificate. And at the moment when his energy exploded, the occult administration was stationed in the Western State Branch. Detected the energy fluctuation of the advanced evolutionary. Detected the energy fluctuation of the advanced evolutionary. Detected the energy fluctuation of the advanced evolutionary. The monitoring screen flickered frantically, and the alarm began to sound. S-class evolutionary. The young man's expression changed, almost astonished. No, contact the headquarters. S-level evolutionists can be said to be rare. There are only a few S-level evolutionaries in the Great Xia Empire, and there are also evolutionary families in Zizhu, but no family has ever seen an A-level evolutionary, let alone an S-level. Is it a foreign invasion? The young man broke down in cold sweat, and sent a message again, request the support of the host. The Feng family was in Zizhu, and it was easy to find at the beginning of the year. His eyes were full of coldness, and when the energy in his body was about to explode, a hand suddenly rested on his shoulder. Nian Tingchu's body was instantly tense, and when he turned his head, he was stunned. Mr. Yu. The appearance of Yu Xian really surprised Nian Tingchu. If he wasn't sure before, now he's sure. Yu Xian is also an evolutionary. The rank may even be above him. Mr. Nian, don't worry. Yu Xian's voice was calm. Family. Nian Ting was stunned for a moment. His mind was a little bit twisted. Until there was a scream in the ear. The next second, a person was thrown out. He was covered in injuries, and he couldn't find a place where he was going to be completely intact. Shen Ying then came out, ninth brother, a useless B-level evolutionary. He has no ability, but his appetite is not small. You, who the hell are you? The head of the Feng family vomited blood. You are blatantly provoking a fight. I will go to the Yin family and the supernatural administration to sue you. To the supernatural administration and the Yin family. These people are dead. Shen Ying was about to say something, but saw Nian Ting come forward. If you don't remind me, I forgot. Nian Tingchu bent down. A long time ago, my surname was Yin. His voice was very soft. Why do you think you are so moving to my son's head? Good morning. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 356. Yin is a very old surname. But any evolutionary person will not have heard of this surname. Among the evolutionary people, this surname is the existence of princes and nobles. Patriarch Feng's pupils shrank violently. You. Buzz. He couldn't say what he said, and the air around him froze instantly. The face of the family master Feng turned blue and purple, and the veins throbbed frantically. Nian Tingche just stared at him, his eyes inviolable. The absolute bloodline coercion of the S-class evolutionary. At this moment, the Feng family head doesn't have to doubt Nian Tingche's identity at all. Such ability, such power, is only of the Yin family. It moved to the head of the Yin family. Family Master Feng stared, his face full of fear. The oxygen in his lungs was squeezed out bit by bit, and he didn't even make a scream, and his body fell down softly. Nian Tingche's hand was still shaking, but it took 10 seconds to stabilize. If he hadn't heard the conversation between the two evolutionaries of the Feng family on the way, he wouldn't have known that such a big thing had happened to Nian Yin. His father was indeed a failure. That's what the evolutionary rules are. The weak die, the strong live. Nian Tingche turned around and pursed his lower lip. Mr. Yu. Everyone has difficulties. Yu Xian smiled lightly. Mr. Nian doesn't need to explain, all I know is that you are King King's uncle, and we are a family. Nian Tingche breathed a sigh of relief. He couldn't see through Yu Xian, let alone perceive Yu Xian's ability. But now that Yu Xian can stand here and vent his anger for Nian Yin, he can be trusted. Yu Xian glanced at Shen Ying, and Shen Ying quickly went to clean up the mess. He walked out side by side with Nian Tingche. Nian Ting took a slow breath and asked, "It's New Year's Eve, Mr. Yu will go back to Siju City." Yu Xian said lightly, "They probably won't expect me to go back." In the past New Year's, he also went to the Mo family. Nian Ting was stunned for a while, remembering some rumors in Sijukan, and fell silent. A few seconds later, he tentatively said, "Mr. Yu and I should go back to Ankan together. There are only 4 of us in our family. If Mr. Yu doesn't dislike it, let's stay together for New Year's Eve. Pillow Sleep's cooking skills are good." Yu Xian's brows moved slightly and smiled slightly. It's better to be respectful than to obey. As a B-level evolutionary, Shen Ying's ear power is naturally not comparable to ordinary people, and he heard this conversation clearly. He was thoughtful. Why does he think his 9th brother is waiting for Nian Tingche's words? Nian Tingche didn't know that he was pulled into a trap. He smiled, "Okay, Mr. Yu will be very happy to stay here for the new year." Yu Xian also smiled, "Please." Nian Ting just took a step, as if he remembered something, and frowned, "I didn't hide it just now, I'm afraid it attracted the attention of the Evolution Alliance. Mr. Yu will go first, and I will go and come back." "No need." Yu Xian nodded slightly, "I'll just have someone speak." Nian Tingche glanced at Yu Xian in surprise. "Okay, thank you very much." "Ankan here." Yu Jian received a call from T18. "What?" After hearing this, Yu Jian frowned. "Okay, I get it, me. I'm on vacation and I'm looking for your chief, don't hinder me from making fresh meat." Other side. After a few seconds, the other party said slowly, "I wish you a good night, sir." Sci-fi listened to the whole process and raised her eyebrows. "Senior sister, which little fresh meat's face can you remember?" "I can't remember, it doesn't prevent me from having a drink with them." Yu Jian mixed a glass of wine. "I have to say that the quality of the little bartender is not bad. By the way, just on the phone, T18 found out that the Ning family's lineage has some relationship with the Feng family. It is also the owner of the Feng family who is greedy for profit. He wants to use the blood of the evolutionary people to do experiments to cultivate more evolutionary people." Sci-Fucking's fox eyes narrowed. "Feng family. A very small family is gone now." Yu Jian shook the red wine in his glass. "You don't know that in the 3 years since you died, I saw so many evolutionary families rise up, so I just drank a glass of wine. Kung Fu, I saw their tall buildings collapsed again, tisk. In the circle of evolutionaries, the forces are changing with each passing day, and they are the same every day. For a small family like the Feng family, even the name could not enter Yu Jian's ears. In the end, when our people found out, the Feng family had already been taken over. Yu Ji unhooked his lips. Your boss, it's really not easy. For your brother, he didn't stop and went to Zizhu. Si fucking was startled. Is it the boss? Yes, Yu Jian slowly said, little junior sister, you have to thank him. I'm thinking about it too. Si fucking held his chin. But it looks like he doesn't lack anything. I'll warm his hands at the most. Yu Jian coughed twice, then get along with each other more. After getting along for a long time, you can always find out. Yes, third senior sister. Si fucking's eyes lit up. I listen to you, I will observe carefully. Yu Jian looked serious. Well, observe and observe more. Yu Zian passed her level, so she would help him reluctantly. The rest is up to the other brothers and sisters. Early the next morning, after the Feng family's affairs were completely settled, Yu Zian accompanies Nian Tingchu back. Ye Zhenmian hadn't slept well for the past 2 days and 2 nights. When Nian Tingchu came back, he immediately greeted him. Pillow sleep, I'm sorry. Nian Tingchu felt very guilty. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be involved. Ye Zhenmian stopped him from saying the following words, I know, it's all right, let's get through the difficulties together. Uncle, today is New Year's Eve, come and clean up. Si fucking probed from the kitchen, we'll talk about other things the day after tomorrow. Nian Tingchu's body relaxed and smiled, it's my fault, I won't talk about these things today. Ching ching, Mr. Yu is also here, and we will celebrate the new year with us this year. Yu Zian put down a few gift boxes, and every move was a gentleman's style. Excuse me, let me help too. Si fucking looked at him for a while, then he had to pull out an apron. Here, don't get your clothes dirty. The family was cleaning, and went out to buy some New Year's goods in the afternoon. It's only once a year, so naturally it's going to be lively. Ye Zhenmian cooked a lot of dishes. It's all home cooked, but full of flavor. Si fucking took a photo of the table, and then posted a Weibo. At V, have you all had the New Year's Eve dinner? Comments skyrocketed. After eating, my wife's New Year's Eve dinner looks delicious. Woohoo, today's Spring Festival Gala Demon has also been stopped, waiting for tomorrow, please comfort. Is this made by Ching Ching Baby? A certain actress looks like she can't cook at all. Si fucking. The smile gradually disappeared. What's wrong with her being a kitchen killer? She is proud. Si fucking put away his mobile phone and concentrated on eating. After eating a meal for 3 full hours, the sound of fireworks and firecrackers outside the window became louder and louder. After cleaning up the plates, Nian Tingchu and Nian Yian went to play chess, while Ye Zhenmian was watching the replay of Dragon Crossing. And the large balcony in the living room. This is my first New Year's Eve. Si fucking leaned on the railing, looking at the sky full of fireworks. It's good. Yu Zian's eyelashes drooped, she didn't speak, she just stood quietly beside her. He also didn't know what she had experienced before. He waited for the day she was willing to tell him. Yu Zian smiled lightly and said lightly, me too. Every time he saw these, he knew that everything they had done was worth it. He died without regret. Zhang Jiajin died without regret. Everywhere in Daxia, Zhang died without regret. Are they fighting for the prosperity of today? After the fireworks ended, Yu Zian turned her head and saw the 2 cans of beer in Si fucking's hands, drinking at this time. Isn't this your tranquilizer? Si fucking said, having already filled a bottle. She muttered, I really want to dissect you to see why you can calm me down. Yu Zian smiled calmly, what did you say? Huh, Si fucking looked up, obviously already drunk. A pair of fox eyes flashed through the hazy mist. She shook her body, as if to squat down. He held her up in time, but was hugged by her the next second. Uzion's movements stopped. Si fucking hugged his neck and rubbed, "I'm sleepy, I don't want to move." At this time, she has removed her body's self-defense mechanism, and has the softness that belongs to a girl. But this softness makes people very nervous. Uzion's body tensed for a moment. He warned in a low voice, calling her full name for the first time, "Si fucking, come down." "Oh, boss, don't be so fierce, I just use you as a means of transportation. Si fucking is very good, you can treat me as a cat." Uzion. Only he himself knew what kind of torment he was enduring. Unprecedented. Used almost all of his proud self-control. Uzion's back was still tense, he took a few breaths slowly, his voice seemed calm, "Deduct the year-end bonus." These 4 words clearly hit Si fucking store, and she raised her head immediately. Deducted, she was fierce, and before she was fierce for a while, she suddenly burst into tears. "Why are you deducting my money? Do you know that it's not easy for me to make money? I raised a gold-swallowing beast, it ate a lot of money from me, but it didn't change at all." She gritted her teeth, "I raised a pig and it has become fat, but look at this rebel girl, it is so small. It is a bottomless pit." This sentence, rub, Ziobi ran away. Immortals fight, a pixie that hasn't even recovered its body can't intervene. Uzion had a rare headache, "Don't cry, I lied to you." Si fucking was even more unhappy, "You still lied to me? How could you lie to me? You promised not to lie to me." He finally realized what it means to be a mess. Uzion sighed and had to let her hang on him like a kangaroo, with her long slender legs pinching his waist. As he was about to leave, his waist tightened again. Si fucking said in a low voice, "The fireworks haven't finished yet. Let's go after watching." But she said that, but she didn't even open her eyes at all, it was just a subconscious behavior. Uzion held her head down. What does he care about with a drunk? He quietly waited for the fireworks to finish, every minute and every second was a torment. Finally she fell asleep completely. He was able to move. Sending her back to the bedroom, he covered her with a quilt and sat quietly beside her bed for a while before getting up and leaving. At this time, the Western continent. There is no such thing as the Lunar New Year in the Western continent, but many Daxia people spontaneously hold various New Year activities. Because of the time difference, it is now daytime in the Western continent. This time, the Youth Culture Exhibition was organized by the International Arts Council. There are thousands of works from all countries, including oil paintings, sculptures, calligraphy, and poetry creations. This is not just an exhibition, but also a collision of cultures. The chairman pushed open the door. Has the final selection come out? It's already out. One of the judges stood up. We evaluated all the works from various aspects, and finally decided that the embroidered picture that you liked at a glance, Chairman, is the first. Embroidery is only available in Daxia, and they have not seen such amazing works for a long time. Sure enough, there is still no one who can beat this 10,000 miles of rivers and mountains. I knew that the one sent by Gu Huiyan must be a fine product. The chairman sighed, I have to say, Daxia is still Daxia. In addition to Daxia, looking at the entire world, which other country's civilization can last for 5,000 years? How many ancient countries disappeared in the long river of history? 5,000 years later, only Daxia is still standing. Even though Daxia is temporarily behind after the opening of modern technology and civilization, everyone knows that the dragon roar of the Oriental dragon will wake up the whole world one day in the future. Sir, there is also an embroidered drawing here, and the situation is a bit complicated. Another judge stood up, we don't know how to decide, please take a look. The chairman was stunned, any more? Bring it. He unfolded it and saw the name first. It's another map of thousands of miles of rivers and mountains. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 357. In fact, it is very common to bump into names, such as the galloping map of 10,000 horses. There are many paintings and calligraphy called this name. But although they are called 10,000 horses galloping too, each calligraphy and painting has the style of the painter himself, unless it is a copy. But copying can't be exactly the same. Embroidery is a traditional folk craft in Daxia, with a history of 2,000 or 3,000 years, and it is very rare in Daxia now. Zhejianjiao, a small country-style brand endorsed by Sci-fi, has set off a new wave of embroidery. Neither the West Continent nor the East Sang have this craft. Not to mention that they are also youth culture exhibitions, only accepting works from international youth under the age of 20. It is very rare for teenagers of this age to have attainments in embroidery. The chairman also saw this pair sent by Gu Huiyan. Originally, the second embroidery work made him look forward to it, but it turned out to be a low-end version. If you put aside the high-end version, this low-end version can also be called a masterpiece. Whose work is this? The chairman raised his head and glanced lightly. Who sent it? How did you get into the finals? It was sent by Master Chuan. One of the judges was a little embarrassed. His reputation in the Daxia Empire is not low, and I have never seen this 10,000 miles of rivers and mountains in your hands, chairman, before he was elected. So, this time, the counterfeit and the genuine are on the same page. Master Chuang, the chairman said coldly, if you send me a copy of a plagiarized work, can you still be called a master? Don't insult the name of a master. The judge was even more embarrassed, but when he sent it, he repeatedly assured that it was a unique idea, and judging from his confident appearance, he probably didn't know about plagiarism, or he might have been deceived by the plagiarist. Plagiarism is plagiarism, this is serious plagiarism. The chairman slapped the table and sneered, if you really don't know, I don't believe it. Do you believe it? The judges looked at each other. Indeed. The name can be repeated or all embroidered, but the same creative point cannot be said. Thousands of miles of rivers and mountains are imaginary numbers on embroidered pictures. How many mountains, rivers, and seas in Daxia are more than 100,000? How is it possible to choose the same scenery? I don't know much about embroidery, the chairman said lightly, but this picture of the river and mountains sent by Gu Huiyan used a lot of stitches, but the connection is very smooth, but this one is obviously messed up a lot. It seems that Dongshi's imitation cannot be achieved, and it is revealed in front of the main lord. The judges nodded and agreed, so what do you mean? This qualification will naturally be cancelled, but the plagiarism is so open and upright that it has been copied in front of my eyes. It is impossible to forget it so easily, the chairman sneered again. Gu Huiyan mentioned it to me, the Great Xia Empire. A variety show is held, which is related to art, and one of the links is to come to us to participate in the exhibition. Since they want to show it, then show it. It's interesting to show these two pictures together. The judges looked at each other and knew that the chairman was really angry. Plagiarism of literary and artistic works is the most taboo. If plagiarism is allowed to prevail, the original honor will be seized by the plagiarist. Over time, the original will be forced to death. This is intolerable to the chairman. A judge pondered for a moment. Chairman, the Ji family is also a big family in the Great Xia Empire. Will they use some dirty and filthy methods when they become angry? They are an international art committee and are not afraid of the Ji family. But Sci-fi is still in the Great Xia Empire after all. If he is targeted by the Ji family, he will cause trouble out of thin air. This matter is indeed a problem, the chairman frowned, and he pondered, I will contact Gu Huiyan. Today is the new year of their Daxia people. I will ask again tomorrow. The Lunar New Year was the most important festival in the Great Xia Empire, so he naturally wouldn't bother at this time. Go, hand over the VIP invitation to that surnamed Shuang, and be sure to let G's family come and tell them when it will be on display, and the embroidery will be in the center venue." The chairman snorted coldly, "I want to see it. Who is so shameless? Let everyone who comes to the exhibition take a look. The shameless degree of some people is really beyond ordinary people's thinking." The assistant heard this and went down to prepare. One of the judges looked at Sci-fi's map of the country and suddenly said, "Chairman, this name is a bit familiar." Familiar? The chairman was stunned. Gu Huiyan said that this is the first work of a little girl, or he asked for it. Sci-Fi was only 18 years old when he embroidered this map of the river and mountains, and his future is immeasurable. The chairman made an exception and signed a document inviting Sci-Fi to become a member of the International Art Committee. "Hey! I remembered it," the judges high-five, "I'm watching her TV series, it's a fairy tale drama." Chairman. After a few seconds, he slowly said, "You mean, she is actually an actress?" Yeah, the judges were quite happy. It's almost the end of the broadcast, and I can see Immortal Venerable die right away. Daxia lasts for 5,000 years and has a strong cultural heritage. As the director of the International Art Committee, the judges have been studying the Daxia culture all the time. Although Crossing the Devil is an overhead background, Tang Haiqiu keeps improving and has strict requirements, and also shows many different cultures. The judges chased with gusto. The chairman again. He turned away suddenly. No way, even if today is the Chinese New Year in Daxia, he must question Gu Huiyan. How can he let an embroidery genius act? Simply bullshit. The next day. Great Xia Empire, the first day of the new year. Sci-Fi was awakened by the sound of firecrackers outside. When she woke up, she didn't feel any hangover, and she was refreshed. After briefly grooming, Sci-Fi changed his clothes and went out. "Sister Ching Ching, you're up last, and the firecrackers are all finished." Nian Yan was making dumplings. Today's first meal is vegetarian. And this custom, Sci-Fi walked over, "I'll come too." Just as she stretched out her hand, Yu Zian raised it and held it. His voice was light, "Forget what you can do and what can't you do." Sci-Fi. She was not convinced. Making dumplings is not cooking dumplings. The filling and skin are all adjusted. Can I still not make them? Yeah, Yu Zian raised her eyes. "You only need to know how to eat." Sci-Fi. How can you compare me to this inverse girl? Xiaobai yawned. "It is noble, it eats only gold. Ores of higher quality than gold are also available." "Sister Ching Ching, you can rest." Nian Yan also said, "It's almost finished, so don't be busy, let us men come." Sci-Fi held his chin and looked at Yu Zian. His fingers are slender, and the tips of his fingers are white, like a fine jade. She has seen him holding a fan, drinking tea, and brushing with ink. It is the first time to make dumplings. However, even with such a flamboyant action, he still has the elegance of a gentleman. No wonder there's a word called Xiu-se de Cai. After Yu Zian wrapped the last dumpling, she turned her head to meet her eyes. Her tone was neither high nor low. "What happened yesterday, do you remember?" This sentence gave Sci-Fi a bad premonition. She thought about it for a while, but she didn't think of anything, and said tentatively, "Did I not be very good and quiet yesterday?" "Very good." Yu Zian was indifferent, non-committal, like a cat. Sci-Fi breathed a sigh of relief. "That's good." Yu Zian rolled up her sleeves and said, "Sit here." After he finished speaking, he walked into the kitchen. As soon as he left, Xiao Bai cried out excitedly, and vividly told everything he saw yesterday. He also specifically imitated Sci-Fi's hugging action yesterday, with its two legs pinching Sci-Fi's legs and rubbing his head on her clothes. The more Sci-Fi listened, the harder her fist became. She said with a blank face, "Okay, don't talk about it." Xiaobai opened a pair of innocent eyes, and then snorted. Sci-Fi gritted his teeth, I'll kill Pixio again. Noob. It ran away again and ran to Yegenmian's side. Sci was still clenching his fists. She really doesn't know how many times she has contributed to her death scene in front of Yu Zion. At this time, the door was opened, and Nianting came back from outside at the beginning of the day. When he saw that Sci was completely grayed out, he was quite surprised. Ching ching. Huh, Sci returned to his senses. Uncle. Are you up? Nianting Chu took off his coat. What are you thinking, in a daze? Sci glanced at the three busy people in the kitchen. I was thinking, is my uncle the Yin family? At the beginning of Nianting's movements, his body tensed in an instant, a fierce gesture of a beast about to hunt. After a few seconds, he relaxed and sighed softly. Ching Ching knows more than I thought. Yes, I am from the Yin family, and so does your father. Our original surname is Yin. They just changed their names. Sci raised his head. So my uncle left and my parents died. Is it also related to the Yin family? No. Nianting Chu was slightly startled, and immediately smiled. Of course not, even if it is the Yin family. Are there so many S-level evolutionaries? Sci nodded. There is no direct line or collateral line in the evolutionary family. Whoever has a higher bloodline has a higher status. S-class evolutionaries, of course, must be vigorously cultivated. The Yin family has always been stalking and training. Nianting Chu's eyes narrowed slightly. Ching Ching, you may not know that, in fact, on top of 3D games, there is a holographic game that can perfectly simulate various senses. Sci's eyes narrowed suddenly. This holographic game is called Eternal. Nianting said slowly. At the beginning of the year, my eldest brother and I have been practicing in the game since we got the game account qualification, and our strength has grown rapidly. Killed 2 players in the process. We didn't take it to heart at that time. Later, a group of people found our specific location through Eternal and directly killed the Yin family, demanding that the Yin family must execute me and my eldest brother, otherwise the entire Yin family would not even think about living. The elders at that time were all defeated and died. Nianting Chu whispered, my eldest brother and I had to leave the Yin family and take matters into our own hands. After a fluke, we stayed anonymous and our game accounts were completely erased. Sci frowned. Find it through the game. Good. The dangers of Eternal are far more than the dangerous places in the game and ferocious NPCs like the Lord of Ghost Valley. It is also possible to be located directly and find the player himself in reality. Yes, this game is very dangerous. Nianting Chu sighed, you may even die in the game. I haven't logged into the game for a long time, and I don't know what it looks like inside. Since then, I have separated from my eldest brother. When I have news about my eldest brother, he has already. Nianting Chu clenched his fingers slowly, his expression was sullen, but his eyes were cold. What is the situation of the death of eldest brother and sister-in-law? I still don't know, but I can't give up. This is a family feud that will end in death. I see. Sci nodded slightly. Uncle, do you still remember the ID names of the 2 players you killed? Nianting Chu shook his head. They hid their names. In fact, I don't know the origin of the people who killed the Yin family. Sci's eyes sank. When her game cabin came back, she went to check it herself. On the other side, Sijukan. Sijukan is very lively today. There was a temple fair on the street behind the back door of Guanghua Temple, and people came and went. The Ji family was also very happy, and someone came to pay New Year's greetings early in the morning. Ji Longta and MRSG just sent off a batch when Master Zhuang came. Master Ji also greeted him personally. Master Zhuang. Mr. Ji, MRSG, good news. Master Zhuang said, this news is great, I can't wait to come as soon as I get it. Ji Longta also hurriedly asked, what news? There is news from the International Art Committee that the picturesque pictures of rivers and mountains will be exhibited, and the invitation letter will be sent in a few days. Please come to the scene to observe. Master Zhuang smiled. This is really a happy event. To be able to exhibit internationally, Ji Qinggui's reputation can be considered to be out. Who else can compare? More and more dead. In fact, this love drama should be the smoothest and most natural QWQ I have written. It is difficult to chase a wife, right? After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 358. To have such a talented disciple as Ji Qinggui, Master Zhuang is also unprecedentedly proud. Gu Huiyan refused again and again, which was the loss of Gu Huiyan. When the exhibition is held in the Western continent, he must see how Gu Huiyan regrets it. Really, Ji Longta and MRSG looked at each other, and they were both pleasantly surprised. It's really a happy event. I wonder how many places Qinggui can get. Naturally it's number 1. Master Zhuang smiled. I saw half of the list, and the number 1 is map of 10,000 miles of rivers and mountains. I can't go wrong. Hearing this, MRSG was already smiling from ear to ear. It turned out to be the first. Ji Longta was also very excited. Qinggui is amazing. This is an international competition. To win the first place is to stand out among all the artistic and literary geniuses in various countries and beat the pack. Where's Qinggui? Master Zhuang stroked his beard. New Year's auspiciousness. Is her health better? I take medicine every day. Ji Longta smiled bitterly. It's still the same, I can only take it slowly. Master Mingdeng disappeared mysteriously at first, and finally news came from Guanghua Temple that Master Deng passed away, and several main seats have selected new hosts. The new host has no friendship with the Ji family. The Ji family invited him once, but the host left immediately after taking a look at Ji Qinggui, and would not be able to invite him again. In the Holy Land of Buddhism, the Ji family did not dare to be presumptuous, otherwise they would also be riddled with karma and sin. First, Ji Boyan had an accident, and so did Master Mingdeng, who took care of Ji Qinggui. Ji Longta always felt that the Ji family had been unlucky for the past 2 months. Maybe he was overthinking. Master Zhuang nodded. From his angle, he could see Ji Qinggui's shadow reflected on the curtain, writing something at the desk. Is she here? There will be the second 7-school joint examination after the year. Mr. Ji was very pleased. Qinggui felt that I didn't do well in the test last time, so I have to work harder this time. It's no wonder that the genius is still working so hard. It's no wonder that he has thrown a lot of other people away. Master Zhuang praised. Then I won't disturb you all. I'll visit again when the invitation letter arrives. Master Ji personally sent Master Zhuang out. MRSG grabbed Ji Longta's hand and was ecstatic. Qinggui is really too promising, give us a face. We must publicize it well. Ji Longta made a decisive decision. Let them all see that our Qinggui is so weak, but our strength is not weak at all. MRSG nodded and immediately started to hype her little sisters. Ji Longta was not idle, so Ji's group's new media publicity department was ready. Just waiting for the official opening of the exhibition. Let the name of Ji Qinggui's artistic genius spread to the whole network, and let Ji's family shine. Ankan here. It had been more than 20 years since Nian Ting left the Yin family, and Ye Zhenmian had also left the family. There was no New Year greeting, but the family was happy. Ye Zhenmian's craftsmanship is very good, and I fucking ate 2 large plates of dumplings. Ching ching, haven't you been to the temple fair yet? Ye Zhenmian came over with 2 tickets. This year's temple fair is very lively. You can take Mr. Yu around, but be careful not to be photographed with too many people. Temple fair, Nian Yan heard it and raised her hand. I'm going too. Don't go, Nian Tingchu said. I just awakened to the power of the evolutionary, but I haven't been able to retract it freely. Train with me. Be careful that your wings grow out when you are in class. Nian Yan. Why is his family status so low? Okay, No problem. I fucking also remembered Yu Jian's words. The more she contacts Yu Zion, with her high IQ, she will definitely be able to discover what he likes. Taking the ticket from Ye Zhenmian, I fucking knocked on the door of the computer room. After getting a please come in, she looked at the cat and said, "Boss, are you busy now? Are you going to the temple fair? I'll pack everything you want." Nothing. Yu Zion closed the computer, reached out and stroked the folds on his shirt, then turned his head. "Why do you suddenly remember to invite me to the temple fair? Auntie gave me 2 tickets." I fucking shook the tickets in his hand. "Ian wants to receive training from my uncle, so it's just right for us to go." Yu Zion hummed lightly, "So you didn't do it voluntarily? Hey, why are you speculating about people?" I fucking's eyes were cold. "If I don't volunteer, no one can force me. I clearly see that you have no one to accompany me, and I sacrifice myself to accompany the gentleman." Yu Zion's eyebrows twitched, and she said, "I never said I was a gentleman. Let's go, let's go." I fucking took his hand directly. "I even asked Sister Sang to talk about work at night. Let's go play first." Yu Zion's eyelashes dropped, looking at the hand she was holding at his wrist. Her eyes paused for a second. Then he took out a red envelope from his pocket and handed it over. I fucking looked at her. New Year's money. Yu Zion looked back at her with a slight smile. "I'm going to drive, you get dressed and get down." I fucking accepted it. While putting on her clothes, she rubbed a little White's fluffy head. "Did you see that? The boss gave me New Year's money. Where can I find such a good boss? You even want to tarnish the pure feelings between us? Noob." The dog owner is helpless. It looked sadly at the cash in the red envelope. Why not give gold? It was found that gold was inedible. Xiaobai was lying in his bag, it was decided, and today the wingmen went on strike. The temple fair is full of people, there are many special snacks and toys, and folk craftsmen perform. I fucking had a great time and went home after watching a classical dance at 8 o'clock in the evening. Not long after the break, she put on her coat again and went to the studio. On the first day of the new year, Sang Yanking was still working, and stopped after seeing her coming. "Sister Sang, you are too dedicated." I fucking sat down. "You don't go home to accompany your family?" "I don't have any family, and I'm divorced." Sang Yanking put down a glass of juice in front of her. "After the new year, you have to start work. On the 7th day of the new year, Bizhu number 1 middle school and high school will resume classes, and the second 7 college entrance exam. Are you ready?" I fucking snapped his fingers lazily. "That's 750 points. Sang Yanking." She lowered her head and looked at the announcement schedule. "After the 7 school joint entrance examination, and Dragon Crossing is over, you have to cooperate with Starlight to participate in a guest talk show, and other actors will also come, and then go to audition for The Girl of the Town. After that, the art team that filmed The Birth of a Staff, and..." After listening for a full 5 minutes, I fucking stuffed his head into the pillow. "There are so many things, life is not easy." I sighed. "Okay, Doisa sighed, "we don't follow the traffic route. I have pushed you a lot of announcements." Sang Yanking folded his arms. "Huo Shijun knows. The year she was promoted to the top, the announcements directly 2 years later. Your workload is already very small, so where are you going?" I fucking held his chin and blinked. "I still want to play games." Ji Xingzi said that the customs side has finally released it, and her game cabin will be here soon. She can't wait to see with her own eyes the prosperous Xiaojiangshan under the rule of Emperor Yin. "I almost forgot if you didn't tell me." Sang Yanking pressed his head with a complicated expression. "Your team has entered the semi-finals with a 100% record. The finals will start in April, and you will have to film after going to Dongsang to play the finals. Then prepare for the college entrance examination." "You really?" "Other stars are busy, that is, they are busy filming, appearing on variety shows and walking the red carpet. Si Fu was busy, and various exam competitions followed one after another. Sang Yanking had to suspect that the child was born to work. Dong Sang. Si fucking frowned, I have to make a punctuation mark. Dongsang is different from the Great Xia Empire, where yin and yang and the five elements prevail. Even in the capital of Dongsang, floating spirits can be seen everywhere. Although floating spirits are people who are unwilling to leave after death, most floating spirits have no memory. After being controlled by the Onmyoji, they will also obey the orders of the Onmyoji. She fought against Dongsang's four major families of Onmyoji many times in her previous life, and knew that their methods were very cruel. Although Dongsang's yin and yang five-element technique was obtained by the ancestor of the Fujiyama family, Zitudaxia, but over the years, they have developed their own path. Not to be underestimated. Si fucking thought about it and decided to call Ji Xingzi at that time. She poked him on WeChat. Ji Xingzi replied quickly. Ji Xingzi, no problem, eldest brother, I've been abroad recently, and I won't be praying for the new year. I'll send you a red envelope. Si fucking, abroad? Did you go to Dongsang again? Ji Xingzi, no, in the western continent, it's about the Li family. At present, several places have been locked, and the possibility is very high. There are few floating spirits here, but it's not that there are no, I'll see if I can find and ask about 20 years ago. Si fucking, thank you, and thank your grandfather for me. Ji Xingzi, no need to thank you for small things. Sang Yanking also just said, although you are a temporary rescuer and you don't have a title for the movie Looking for the Orphan, the online reviews are very good, and your fans are looking forward to your filming. Looking for the Orphan was released today, and the box office on the first day was higher than the crew expected. It can be said that Si fucking single-handedly boosted the box office. But because it's not a comedy or a cool drama, there are still not as many people watching Looking for Orphans as other New Year's gear. There are also discussions on the internet that the Li family lost their grandson. Wow, I never imagined that Si can also act so well in modern dramas. This look is absolutely amazing, and he is not inferior to Tao Yinghao in the play. Who would have thought that Si fucking was a temporary rescue? I heard it was a story, she was born to act. I heard from the studio that the next drama will be officially announced soon, looking forward to the new cake. Apart from the actors, this movie made me cry. The mother in the movie is too difficult. After looking for the child for more than 20 years, the child was about to commit suicide. As soon as I found it, fortunately, it ended in a happy ending. The prototype is the matter of the Li family, but after so long, there may really be no hope. Pray that the Li family can successfully find the child back. Si fucking finished his comments and stretched his waist. I'm going to prepare for the audition for Girls of the Town. Prepare well, the role of Zhang Ziyu is very difficult to play. The point is that she is a real hero in history. Sang Yanking looked solemn. Today the director of Lone Walk called again, and I still refuse to you. Si fucking made an okay gesture. I may have some inspiration when I see the real person, don't panic. Sang Yanking. What is meeting the real person? See you in a dream? Her artist is really getting more and more abnormal. On the other side, the rejected Lone Walk crew. Rejected, the producer paused and frowned. Didn't you tell the other party that this drama was specially polished for the Yunding Award and the International TV Drama Award? Whether it is the Xiangxia drama of the Daxia Empire or the magic drama of the Western continent, it is indeed not the material to win the grand prize. Among the winners of the Yunding Award over the years, none of the dramas have been mixed with unnatural elements. And there are too many realistic dramas, most of which tell the stories of ordinary people who struggle and do not give in to their fate. The producer and director have cooperated many times and won several Yunding Awards. Compared with the Yunding Award, the Golden Flower Award and the Huanian Award are not enough. Originally, there was no Si fucking in the list they originally planned to invite, but Dragon Crossing became popular throughout the summer, and there are also a group of fans abroad, all of which prove that Sci-Fucking is a group of dark horses who came out. The producer acted decisively on Sci-Fucking and handed over the script years ago. The director sighed, I said it, but I still don't answer. If she doesn't pick it up, she won't pick it up. The producer was also annoyed, after filming a drama, it's like this, and I don't even care about the Yunding Award. The director loosened his frowning brows and smiled, actually, she doesn't quite fit the heroine's design. After all, Dragon Crossing is an illusion, and she can't act in this kind of reality drama. Fortunately, she refused, or else you will be ridiculed by the crowd. The producer said lightly, she's quite self-aware. She's 19 this year, right? She's only in the third year of high school. Everyone else has gone to college at her age. After dropping out for so long, it's still unknown whether she will be able to get into college. The heroine of the play Lonely Walk is a scholar who came out of a poor mountainous area and a family that prefers sons to daughters, and changes her destiny by herself. Without the experience of learning this, what can Sci-Fucking play? See you in June. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 359. Real-life dramas are not like fairy tale dramas like Dragon Crossing, which are made up indiscriminately. Everything must be based on the conditions of the real society. Sci-Fucking didn't answer, which made the producer feel very dissatisfied, but at the same time he was relieved. He didn't want to see the netizens mocking the crew to please the top class when Lone Walk released the cast list, and let a scumbag act as a scholar. What's more, Sci-Fucking's face is too outstanding, so that even if her acting skills have left other Xiahua far behind, people will still ignore her acting skills. Let's stick to the list we made at the beginning. The director nodded, Song Wenhua is the first choice. She is very suitable, and she was born as a child star. Last year, she scored 550 points in the school model test. A score of 550 is considered a high score among art examiners. The producer nodded, she has aura. If she polishes it well, she will be a new recruit, but she is going to take the college entrance examination this year, right? Yes, she is also in the college entrance examination this year, but she is 1 year younger than Sci-Fucking. The director laughed, she will definitely enter Xia Ying with the first grade in the culture class. Okay, the producer lit a cigarette, then contact the Song Wenhua team. Sci-Fucking doesn't act, that's her loss. Too fluttering and too arrogant, sooner or later, he will be surpassed by Xiahua of the same age. The top position changes every 3 years, how long can Sci-Fucking stay? But I heard from Sci-Fucking's team that she has already taken on another drama. The director frowned, I don't know what drama it is, so she can give up Lone Walk. The producer didn't care much, and said lightly, it is estimated that it is an ancient puppet adapted from a novel, which can get more traffic, so I said that she has a low vision. Look at those top 30s, who doesn't want to transform into a real drama? She didn't want such a good opportunity in front of Sci-Fucking, and she won't have it in the future. These few days off, Sci-Fucking had a good time. While playing, she is also chasing dramas and watching real-time drama feedback from netizens. On the 6th day of the Lunar New Year, there are still 4 episodes before the end. Sui Yan led the demon clan to kill the Asgard. Immortal Venerable was beaten by Ling Chi for 108 knives, and even his soul was crushed by Sui Yan, leaving only a wisp of soul. This ray of soul was locked in the soul lock lamp by Sui Yan again, unable to dissipate, and the only remaining consciousness was tortured day and night, neither life nor death. This is the biggest climax in the whole world, and the index of Dragon Crossing on major social platforms has skyrocketed rapidly. At the same time, the ratings also reached a new commanding heights. Highest ratings, 22.1%. Average ratings, 18.9%. A Feng Shen, a genuine Feng Shen. Netizens have been waiting too long for this episode. It is good. It's worth waiting for so many episodes. Immortal Dog is finally dead. The abuse is so good, wow, it's killing me. Please other directors roll it up and make more cool dramas with big heroines. I don't want to see any conflicting family ethics between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. It's cool, but Suishui's life is still very sad. She became the goddess of war in the three realms. Her enemy died, but her friend also died. I cried. I fucking swiped comments until he swiped a follower's Weibo. At Mo Yishin V, are you all relieved? Can I go out? Seeing this Weibo, netizens almost died of laughter. Emperor Mo, stand up, don't be so humble. This drama made me realize that Mo Yingdi doesn't need to play a tough guy. Immortal Venerable plays really well, and the pain is very real. It's not like some drama swords are stabbed in the heart, and his face is expressionless. You dare to believe that when he acted in a TV series, he could not find anyone among the immortal actors. Is it okay to roll up the internal entertainment? Please, don't look at the special effects, look at the truth now, the little fresh meat. If you play the emperor, you are afraid that your country will be destroyed. Mo Yishin became famous very early, but he is low-key and does not hype. But 10 years ago, he was also rated as one of the 4 beauties of ancient costumes in Daxia. It is indeed as the old fans have said, in that era 10 years ago, actors and gods from all walks of life fought, and when the peak duel, Mo Yishin could only be a match. It is reasonable for Mo Yishin to become popular again 10 years later. Mo Yishin took the initiative to help Tang Haikyu's new drama, but he didn't expect this drama to be so popular. He was very emotional, and immediately called Sci-fucking to thank him. Mr. Mo has strength, and powerful people will never be buried. Sci-fucking smiled, Mr. Mo, and I thank you. Mo Yishin was praised for his physical and mental well-being, and he laughed, there must be a lot of crew looking for you, right? Have you picked up the next play? I'm preparing for the audition. Sci-fucking lazily said, maybe I'll ask Mr. Mo to help me to act as a friendship. Mo Yishin. He took a slow breath and said carefully, I declare in advance that I will not play a scumbag. Seeing the comments of netizens these days, his body feels cold. Don't worry, Sci-fucking comforted him, how about this time you play a role where you get a lunchbox at the beginning? Mo Yishin said again. Is this all good? But listening to Sci-fucking say this, he was aroused curiosity, what are you going to play? I saw a marketing account broke the news that you are going to play Lone Walk. This is a good drama, if you want to play it, you will be an actor. I pushed Lone Walk. Sci-fucking paused, I picked up The Lady of the Town. What? Mo Yishin was taken aback, The Lady of the Town. You actually picked up this drama? Sci-fucking's fox eyes narrowed, what's wrong with this show? This drama was filed 5 years ago. Mo Yishin let out a slow sigh of relief, but no one has accepted it so far, and several actresses have refused. That was Zhang Ziyu, the only female general in town. At the age of 18, he took command and set out on the expedition, defending the frontier. At the age of 22, he perished with the enemy. Thousands of arrows pierced through his heart, and he never knelt down until his death. Although she is not as famous as Zhang Haiping and Zhang Suanjin's 9 brothers, she is still a legend. How to play such a historical hero? I want to persuade you to give up this drama. Mo Yishin looked solemn, but since you have already accepted it, you have to be prepared. If you win, I dare to let go of the harsh words, this will be the screen you shape. A classic image that will not be forgotten in 50 years, but if you lose. Sci-fu smiled and said calmly, I don't like losing. Okay. Mo Yishin took a deep breath, I'll go if you invite me, and I'll give up my life to accompany the gentleman, I believe you. The filming of Zhang Ziyu will inevitably involve Zhang Haiping, the 9 sons of the Zhang family, and the generals of the Zhang family. This piece of history is something that directors dare not take lightly. At that time, there was a movie emperor who was directly confused because he played Zhang Suanjin, the son of Jiang's father. The fact that Mo Yishan can say that means that he also bet all his fortune. Si's eyes moved slightly. I look forward to another win-win with teacher Mo. At the end of the call, she stretched and then studied the history related to Zhang Ziyu. Early the next morning, Si went to Bizhu number 1 middle school on time to take the exam. The principal was very nervous and met her in person before the test. Student Si, you should take the test boldly. Even if you didn't score as high as last time, don't be under pressure, you know. He was afraid that Si would be under too much pressure to score 750 on the first test. Hearing that this time the question was difficult, he was worried that if she didn't get the score last time, she would not be able to accept it. Principal, don't worry. Si took out a piece of lemon candy, eat something sweet and calm down. Ah! Oh, the principal took it blankly. When he came back to his senses, Si had already entered. Headmaster. He ate the candy and decided to calm down. The second 7-school joint entrance examination is still the test of Chinese, mathematics and English and 3 comprehensive subjects. It imitates the college entrance examination model, but the question type integrates the questions of the International Joint Entrance Examination and various international academic competitions over the years. During the 2-day exam, the candidates who were in the same exam room as Si were all numb. They watched Si hand in papers ahead of schedule and in advance. Each exam is either handed in ahead of time or on the way to handing in ahead of time. When the last English test was over, the director of the admissions department rushed over. Student Si, don't leave yet, there is another test, just 1 hour away. Si turned his head. Assessment of the potential of the International Joint Entrance Examination. The final list of the International Entrance Examination will be released in April, and these 2 months are the time for selection. Yes, 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 the director of the admissions department gave a high five. It will start immediately. The computer-based test, the global unified time, or the old saying, don't put too much pressure. This is just a potential assessment, not the final result. Si nodded and followed the director of admissions to the computer room. There are also 18 students from Bizhu number 1 middle school. Except for Lin Jiwan, several other students watched Si come in amazement. Of course, they knew that Si had participated in the 7-school joint test, but the scores of the 7-school joint test were not announced, so they didn't know how many points she scored. Those who may participate in the International Joint Entrance Examination must score more than 600 points in the last 7-school joint entrance examination. Si this. The students couldn't calm down. Hurry up, kids, sit down. The director of the admissions department clapped his hands. Don't look at it, I'll ask classmate Si to sign your name and take a photo together. Hearing this sentence, the students' eyes lit up, and they sat down in front of the computer in unison. Si. She said slowly, Director, can you tell me before you sell me? How can this sell you? The director of admissions patted her on the shoulder. This is an affirmation for you. Is your next drama ready? I can't wait. Before the change, he would never have imagined that one day he would follow his daughter and wife to follow a drama together. I picked up one. Si also found a computer and sat down, but when the filming is over and the process is over, it will be the end of the year. Oh, it doesn't matter, it takes a long time for a good drama, the director of admissions said. I'm waiting. In Shueshen, there is no acting better than Si, and there is no actor who has better learning ability than Si. This is a treasure. The director of the admissions department hung the door with a smile. Everyone take the test well, I'll treat you later. At 6 o'clock, the test begins, the computer is locked, and there is only the answer page. Sci-fucking looked at the 10 additional questions and fell into contemplation. How many of these seem to be adapted from a question she posed a few years ago? Does it count as a bug for the person who asked the question to do the question? With mixed feelings, Sci-fucking quickly finished the question. These 10 additional questions are directly transmitted to the International Examination Headquarters through the Internet. There are not many who are qualified to do these 10 additional questions. They are all elite-seeded players from various countries, and they want to hit the top 500. This time, only 99 people in the Great Xia Empire got the qualifications for the additional questions. There are a total of 2,000 people in the world, and the speed of the professors changing the papers is also very fast. In half a day, all the students' scores were imported into the computer, and the computer was used for potential assessment. Although there are only 10 questions, there are many knowledge points in the test, and almost every question is a combination of many disciplines. Professor Solomon the assistant knocked on the door. This time the potential assessment has come out, please take a look. Come in. The old man with glasses looked up, let me see. The assistant hands the laptop over. Professor Solomon directly clicked the filter and screened out candidates with a score of 80 or more. This time, there were 18 people who took the 80th grade, which has already set a record for the international entrance examination within 5 years. Several names are already familiar to Professor Solomon, and this time I see a few new ones. Overall score, 82. Potential assessment, S. Origin, Daxia Empire, Ji Qingwei. The last line is the name and nationality. Great Xia Empire? How could people from the Great Xia Empire get more than 80 points in these 10 questions? Professor Solomon nodded, remembering the name Ji Qingwei. By scrolling down, he was more and more surprised. This time, there is still a score of 90. The quality of this batch of students is indeed very good. Until the last one. Total score, 100. Potential assessment, SSS. Professor Solomon's hand paused and stood up abruptly, sparks exploded, and there was a crackling in his mind. He stared intently at the source of information on the last line. Great Xia Empire, Sci-fucking. Today, June 1st, I wish everyone a happy Children's Day. In the new January, the babies who have guaranteed monthly tickets will give Ching Ching a wave. Almost a few votes into one, rush rush. Some people really like to see that even if his acting skills are good, people will ignore his acting skills, such as Leonardo. So he is like this now. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 360. 7 words are enough to shake everything. Professor Solomon looked at the score and couldn't calm down at all. Every cell was trembling frantically, and he couldn't control himself at all. In the past years, there has been no full score in the potential assessment of the International Joint Entrance Examination. After all, the question is really difficult, mainly because of various thinking strains in the test. As long as one point cannot be penetrated, this question cannot be done. Therefore, a player with a score of 80 or more is an absolute seed, and the top 50 in the International Entrance Examination is absolutely stable. Of course, the child prodigy Lu Xingkai was not counted among them. He is a native of Liberty Island, and he is here to play in the International Joint Entrance Examination. It is easy to get a full score. Many people don't know that one of the main purposes of the International Entrance Examination is to send talents to Liberty Island. Professor Solomon seemed to have turned into a stone sculpture, staring at the computer and fell into a standby state. Professor, the assistant knocked on the door and came in to deliver the documents. As soon as he came in, he saw Professor Solomon stunned. The assistant stepped forward with some doubts, and then also saw the score on the screen. He paused and was shocked, it's actually 100 points. After moving his eyes down 2 lines, he lost his voice, Daxia Empire. Daxia has a long history and is the only huge empire whose civilization can stretch for 5,000 years. Everyone has to recognize this. But after being attacked by modern technology and civilization, Daxia was a bit weaker, and many principalities in the western continent looked down on Daxia. The speed of Daxia's revival is extremely fast, which makes people stunned. However, many academic fields are still under pressure. When did Daxia become so cruel academically? And 100 points is a score that people can get? Professor Solomon returned to his mind in a trance. You pinch me. The assistant was stunned. He stammered, I, teach, you should pinch yourself. He dare not. Professor Solomon pinched his thighs desperately, and after taking a few breaths of cold air in pain, he managed to calm down. He looked at the screen again. Still 100 points, no problem. After the calm comes ecstasy. A genius comparable to Lu Xingkai appeared. Quick, get ready. Professor Solomon didn't even bother to wear a coat. Contact her school. I will go to the Daxia Empire immediately, and inform candidates with a score of 80 or more that they can directly enter the international entrance examination. Before the assistant could say anything, Professor Solomon had already rushed out. He had to deal with the rest of the affairs according to Professor Solomon's instructions, and naturally saw Ji Qingwei, who was screened out. Although the score of 82 is very high, it stands out among the 2,000 people and ranks among the top. But with 100 and 100, Ji Qingwei's score was not enough, and was completely left behind by Professor Solomon. The assistant is also very sorry. But there is no way. Whoever made a perversion in this year's potential assessment can only be said to be born out of time. And the Ji family is here. Just now, Ji Qingwei, who was in charge of the exam, called to celebrate her getting a good grade of S in the potential assessment of the international entrance examination. She could directly enter the international entrance examination without taking the preliminaries, which made Ji Longta and his wife very pleasantly surprised. You must know that there are very few people in Daxia who can squeeze into the international entrance examination, and those who directly pass the preliminary examination can be counted with a slap. Ji Qingwei is indeed the hope of the Ji family rushing into Liberty Island. Qingwei, I'm here for dinner. MRSG was very happy. Today I stewed Buddha jumping over the wall. You should eat more. Before she could finish speaking, she was interrupted by a poof. MRSG's expression changed greatly, and she stepped forward in 3 steps and 2 steps, and saw a pool of blood on the ground. Ji Qing fainted slightly. Longta! Longta, call the doctor. MRSG Warong paled and screamed, Qingwei vomited blood. Where is the medicine? Where is the medicine? Ji Longta was also shocked. What's going on? The Ji family was in chaos in an instant. Ask a doctor, boil medicine, boil medicine. Some of Ji Qingwei's medicines were provided by Yan Qingning's family. But I don't know what happened a while ago. The Ning family's medicinal materials were cut off, and they have not been renewed so far. Fortunately, Ji's family still saved a lot of medicine, so Ji Qingwei quickly drank it. The family doctor gave Ji Qingwei acupuncture again, and she woke up after a long time. MRSG cried, Qingwei, you scared mother to death. Ji Longta's eyebrows were tightened tightly. Why do I vomit blood every time I take a test? Is it okay to go on like this? A weak smile appeared on Ji Qing's pale face. I'm used to my mother, it's fine. Don't take the 7 school joint entrance exam next time. MRSG felt distressed. Anyway, you have already won the international joint entrance examination, and you don't need to go to the college entrance examination. Take good care of your body. Ji Qingwei hesitated for a while, then responded. She glanced outside. Sister still can't see me. She is 18 years old and can meet Ji Qinjiao. But Ji Qinjiao has not returned to Ji's house since he left last time. During the Chinese New Year, only some healthcare products were sent by a trustee, and no one was seen. I'll let her come back. MRSG sank her face. You are her sister, she has to take care of you. Really, how does she act as a sister? Ji Qingwei's eyelashes drooped. Maybe my sister is busy, and there are many things in Kinjunmen. I can't be too willful. I'm too busy to see anyone, and I haven't seen a promotion. MRSG reassured. You have a good rest, don't think about other things, your sister will be back. After Ji Qing had fallen asleep, MRSG left the room and started to contact Ji Qingjao. But the phone didn't get through. She frowned. Compared with Ji Qingwei, Ji Qingjao is really worrying. She can only wait for her to go to Kinjunmen for a trip in person tomorrow. The next day, Sci-fi was reading the script of the girl general of the town. She received a call from the principal of Bizhu No. 1 Middle School, asking her to come to the school quickly. There was something very important. She said hello to Sang Yanking and left the studio, still riding a shared bicycle. After arriving at the principal's office, Sci-fi discovered that Principal Lu was not alone. There is an old man with a Western face, and a young man in a suit. Sci-fi raised his head. Principal Lu, is this? Sister Si, this is Professor Solomon. Principal Lu's voice was still trembling. He came to you on a special trip. He is the person in charge of the international entrance examination. Professor Solomon nodded and said a lot of words. The youth in suits and ties translated. Sci-fi was stunned and stretched out his hand. Hello, Professor Solomon, it's my honor to meet for the first time. She speaks Professor Solomon's native language. Professor Solomon shook hands with her, a little surprised. You speak so fluently. Principal Lu was also stunned, and almost said with difficulty, do you speak French? Sci-fi, a little bit. Principal Lu. All communicated fluently, is this a point? Principal Lu had to leave with an interpreter, leaving time to Professor Solomon and Sci-fi. Your teacher should have told you your grade, right? SSS, you've been the only one for many years. With this grade, you don't need to take the international entrance exam at all. Professor Solomon looked solemn and straight to the point. You can directly waive the test. The exam is still to be taken. Sci-fi nodded. I have something very important, and I have to take the international joint exam. Professor Solomon only felt strange, and couldn't help but ask, what is the important thing? You say, I'll see if I can help you solve it. He is very talented. A genius like Sci-fi should naturally be cherished even more. As long as he can do things, he will try to do. Sci-fi calmly said, it makes people vomit blood. Professor Solomon. What? But Professor, you can really help me. Sci-fi touched his chin. Can you advance the international entrance exam to June? In advance, Professor Solomon frowned. I can't decide this alone, it depends on what the Free State means. Ah, yes. Sci-fi nodded, I know what to do. She was going to find Lu Xingkai and let him mention it. You may not have heard of Liberty Island, but being able to study there will improve you in all aspects. I will write you a recommendation letter. Professor Solomon said seriously, when Liberty Island is released, you can go directly there. Already? Sci-fi was silent for a moment, then smiled. I will go back to Liberty Island, but not now, one step at a time. Too hasty will be counterproductive. Yes. Professor Solomon patted her on the shoulder. I have given you my business card. You can come to me at any time if you have something to do. I have something else to do, so I will go first. He didn't notice at all that Sci-fi was talking about going back, not going. Sci-fi sent him out. Professor, walk slowly. She put away Professor Solomon's business card and the exemption certificate, and returned to the studio slowly. Sang Yanking listened to the whole process. She was already numb. I think you should quit the circle, build a rocket or something, stop acting. I don't I fucking unscrewed a bottle of coke, I can also make armor while acting. Sang yanking. She had to remind, your variety show is going to be shown tonight, remember to promote it. I fucking made an okay gesture and went to Weibo for business. She forwarded the latest Weibo of the program group. At employee birth record, tonight at 7:45, the first episode of Staff Birth Story was officially launched. Star guest at Sifyuking Batnings Hyvy helped to start the internship career of medical students together. The mooses came non-stop. Chong rush. It's already timed. Looking forward to the new variety show. There are editing materials again, I can directly cut out a modern drama, sit back and wait for the next play of the goddess of Ching Ching. Because of the hot broadcast of Dragon Crossing, I fucking's current fans have risen to 60 million. The number of retweets and likes for each Weibo post is more than 1 million, which is truly top-notch. At the same time, no one can hide her edge. And because she is the only female god of war in the three realms in Demon Crossing, she is full of aggressiveness, and fans of the drama also gave her the title of Goddess of the Division. But there are still many netizens who are not optimistic about I fucking's performance in The Birth of a Staff. To be honest, this is a job-seeking variety show, and it involves a lot of professional knowledge. I fucking should forget it, she can only be a vase background board in this show. From the time when the show officially announced the star guests, I didn't understand what I was doing, and I changed the main creative team for I fucking. I didn't expect that Daxiotai would also kneel and lick the top class, which is really disappointing. Daxiotai regrets not getting the right to broadcast Devil, then you can take I fucking's next TV series. I think her TV series are of high quality, but she can't do this variety show. At 7:45 in the evening, after the news broadcast and the weather forecast ended, the first issue of The Birth of a Staff was logged into Daxiotai and Daxiotai's official app on time. Many of the mooses are students. There is no TV set in the school, so they can only tell each other in the super chat, so that other old mooses can improve their ratings. Many viewers watched The Birth of a Staff. The beginning is a tidbit. The program team specially released the story of Chen Wengzhen and Wu Weining looking for director Qin to change the group at the beginning. I will definitely change the team if I change me, waiting for I fucking to hold back. That's right, they did it right. After the tidbits, the main feature begins. After the interns were grouped, they went to their respective preparation rooms. The camera was sent to Wei Chenjiun to get a map of human acupuncture points. A line of characters added later also appeared on the screen. The first difficulty of Group A appeared, how will they tide over it? What's going on, isn't it 3 appointment maps, what to do now? Seeing that I'm already nervous, obviously I'm still in high school. This must be the effect of the show team, where is the workplace so open and above board? Wei Chenjiun didn't get the appointment map of the human body, so he could only go back to the preparation room. On the screen, Ning Ji also asked other audience questions, what should I do now? At this moment, I fucking stood up. What is I fucking doing? Wouldn't you take advantage of star privileges to ask for it? It would be boring if the program team opened the back door for her. Director Qin was also watching, very leisurely, and even poured a glass of wine and touched a glass with the assistant director. Humph, can't scare these people to death. Director Qin, scare a few more to accompany me. There will be an update at midnight on Saturday, and I will give you the guaranteed monthly pass at the beginning of the month. You can even punch. About the fact that I bought 20 McDonald's double cheeseburger e-coupons at 618, my best friend can't understand it. See you tomorrow.